Chapter 182. On this day, the sky above the pier of the little Luoshui River was covered with dark clouds. There were still many people coming and going, and the sound of boats giving way rose one after another. County Magistrate Chang Lingxiang, who was going to work in another place in 2 days, stood on the newly built bridge. Looking at the prosperous scene in front of him, he was filled with emotions. His new official position had been announced. He would work on a boat in a few days. The original county magistrate was demoted to the position of the registrar. At first, he thought that he would be able to work in the prefecture. Now his position was demoted a little, but his rank was promoted to secondary level 6. There was no other way. The registrar of Chong, and had specially set this rank. Chong and county magistrate Pei Yao Qing was primary level 6. Sir, didn't you say that you wanted to go and have a look? An attendant beside County Magistrate Chang saw that he had been standing there for a while and had not left, so he reminded him in a low voice. All right, let's go over now. I heard that they are still repairing the lake, so we can take a look. I wonder who will be the next county magistrate. The recommendation has already been submitted. Just this pier alone is worth a lot of money. Although there is a drought this year, the county's tax is still exempted. Many people want to come and take a bite of this bowl of fatty meat. County Magistrate Cheng stepped toward the opposite shore. From time to time, there were people pushing or rushing the goods from the cart to this side, which made it difficult for him to calm down. After the dock was built, after a few rains, this place was open to ships. San Shui County alone could not handle so many goods, but other people needed them. This river was connected to the sea, and it passed by many places, including the capital city. Other places that were far away from the river or did not have a dock could only transfer goods here. There were also merchants from other places who came here by boat. They rented warehouses at the pier and traded with each other. There were many people who came to see the goods. Some goods were directly transported away without even getting off the boat. Of course, they still had to pay the docking fee. As the people in Zhongjia Zhuangzi said, when it was prosperous, the locals also had a new way to make a living. Some went to the pier to work, and some borrowed money to buy a cart to transport goods back and forth. Even those who sold liangpi and jianbing were peddling their wares from time to time. They gave ample portions, fair prices, and cheap prices. Many people who did not have much money on them chose to buy a portion of each and eat together. When the attendant heard the Lord's words, he became anxious. He was afraid that someone would remember this place, but he couldn't continue talking about this. He could only change the topic and say, Lord, it's not just the docks that are prosperous. In the future, there will be more people in the county. Many of the temples will be demolished. The land that didn't need to pay taxes will be given to others. Yes, it's good that it's torn down. The commoners don't have much money to begin with, and we have to give them a share of the money. With the money saved, we can buy some daily necessities. I heard that Zhongjia Zhuangzi has a dispute with a merchant from Beijing. It seems that they are going to deliver the goods here today. Let's watch the show later. County Magistrate Chang looked at the piles of grain opposite him and suddenly thought of this matter. Exchanging the old grain with the new grain and selling the old grain was obviously a loss. He wondered what Zhongjia Zhuangzi was going to do. He sent someone to inquire about it. He also said that he should prepare his men for today. Lord, I know about this matter. A grain store in Beijing has taken a fancy to the seeds of the Zhong family and the Wang family. They want to buy them or find a place to plant them. The Mi family is a grain store. It's considered an ordinary grain store and is not very famous. This time, they are probably going to suffer. Think about it. Zhongjia Zhuangzi has already given a price. The grain is in the fields. If you want to buy it, you can buy it. If you don't want to buy it, you can leave. Why do you have to scheme against others? You want to collect old grain from other people's zhuangzi and use the new grain to exchange for grain from other people's farmers. Naturally, the farmer's grain is not considered seeds. Do you think Zhongjia Zhuangzi is so easy to deal with? If he is angry, he will follow suit. I don't know how he did it. In short, Zhongjia Zhuangzi deliberately made a big deal out of this. Otherwise, he could have just told the farmers that he doesn't want to sell old grain. Where else can the farmers be more obedient than them? The attendant thought hard and analyzed the situation for County Magistrate Cheng. Hearing the attendant say such things, County Magistrate Cheng smiled. You are just a child. What do you know? This is Zhangjia Zhuangzi's demonstration. I'm going to leave now. Sanshui County is so good. The position of County Magistrate has not been decided yet. So many pairs of eyes are watching this place. Those who are capable can find out about our relationship with the Zhuangzi and the Zhang family. What do you think will happen if Zhangjia Zhuangzi is weak now? He will be looked down upon by more people. Those who don't dare to reach out their hands will also want to try. No wonder I am too stupid. The attendant finally understood. If someone reaches out their hand for their grain, they won't care. But in this place, don't tell me that no one wants to reach out their hand? This is the chicken that lays golden eggs. You and I will leave soon. Yesterday, they sent people over to give us so much money. Isn't it so that I can take care of the situation when I get there? County Magistrate Chang looked at the young man who had been with him since he was 6 or 7 years old and said helplessly. The attendant nodded. Sir, you are right. They really dared to give us money. Except for a small part of it, they gave us all the income from the docks. Aren't they afraid that we will fall out with them? This is a year's worth of rent for the warehouse and the restaurant. It is more than 20,000 taels of silver. County Magistrate Chang Weiwei shook his head and said to the attendant, Do you dare to fall out with them, or do I dare to? Yao Chong had come down and Song Jing had gone up. Zhou Qiong had chosen the right side this time. If we really turned hostile, Zhou Qiong would not spare us even before the Zhang family's manor made a move. With such a master who could even calculate this kind of thing, who would not be afraid? Do you still remember the money that Song Jinggong gave us? At first, I didn't know it was Zhou Shihu, but the money he gave us was much more than what I usually give. This is telling me that if I don't care, they will directly send the money to me. Using money that can buy people in the prefecture to give to the county magistrate is a threat. What do you think will happen if we fall out with them? They will send more money to your superior, the attendant replied. That's right. Look at how they treat the villagers, then look at how they treat the bailiffs of the county. You can imagine that they don't want betrayals to happen. Once they find out that someone has betrayed them, they will act like this. They will kill the chicken and wait for them to see. They will bring the money with them. The capital is not like other places. It costs a lot of money. With my little salary, I can barely survive. County Magistrate Cheng was afraid that the attendant would always think about Zhangjia Zhuangzi's scheme and forget about the kindness that should be shown, so he reminded him. The attendant quickly nodded. Don't worry, sir. I won't think too much. They also said that when we go there, we don't have enough money to get people to write letters, so we can help some scholars prepare for the exam. I don't know what use they have for bribing scholars. How do we know who will be successful in the future? 1 in 100 people is enough. This is spreading the money widely. When there is a scholar that they sponsor to become an official in the future, as long as you can help, you will help. If you don't help, you will be ungrateful. How can you expect the superior to treat you well? County Magistrate Cheng explained. The attendant suddenly said, So that's how it is. It costs a lot of money. It is indeed a good plan. Good plan? What does this mean? The head of the Zhang family has been preparing for the imperial examination. Maybe it will be in the next 1 or 2 years. When he goes to the capital and says that he is the one who sponsored those scholars, he will immediately become famous. This is the most amazing thing. I don't know what relationship those two masters have with Zhang Zhong and Zhang Yongqing, or if they are old friends with the old master, so they spent so much effort to pave the way. When the time comes, the prefectural middle school will send a recommendation letter to the superior. I will also help. The connections that I built with their money will be used at the moment they need. If someone was willing to help me in the past, I wouldn't have waited until now to be a secondary class, level 6. When County Magistrate Cheng talked about the head of the Zhang family, he was not only envious, but also sad. With so much money to pave the way for one person, it made him speechless. Ah, is that so? Zhongjia Zhuangzi is indeed not an ordinary place, but is it worth it? What if they help the people of the Zhang family and the people of the Zhang family don't appreciate it? It's not over yet. When they sent the money yesterday, didn't they say that if I have any difficulties over there, no matter whether it is in government affairs or other aspects, I can write a letter to them? This is to protect my position and wait for them to not make any mistakes when they go to the imperial examination. I can be considered to be taking advantage of them. As County Magistrate Cheng spoke, he felt very happy. No matter what, the other party did help him and he would continue to help him. With the guidance of a master, his career in the future would be better. The only regret was that he had not met the master in person and could not find an opportunity to be his disciple. When the attendant heard these words, he was stunned. He never thought that Zhongjia Zhuangzi would be so far-sighted. This kind of thing was not something he could guess. The only thing he could do was to follow the master obediently. As the two of them talked, they had already walked into the group of buildings. The streets were wide and flat, and there were all kinds of shops on both sides of the streets. There were also people carrying baskets to pick up the things that others threw away. On both sides of the streets, there was an open barrel made of wood every few dozen steps. There were words and pictures written on it, so people could throw the useless things inside. The streets next to a pier should be dirty and messy, but here, there was only cleanliness and tidiness. It made people want to buy a house and live here. Unfortunately, this place was only for rent and not for sale. Master, they are really too imaginative. Who would have thought that the place that they bought at a loss of 1,000 taels of silver would become a place that cannot be bought even with 10,000 taels of gold? What is that place for? I came here yesterday, but I didn't see it. The attendant looked at the surrounding scenery and praised again. Suddenly, he found that there was something in front of him that he did not see yesterday. Chapter 183. There was a white, square-shaped object floating there. There were a few ropes connecting it to the bottom. On the white object, there were a few big red words. This thing was really too big, and it made the follower a little scared. Place of advertisement. The attendant had been following County Magistrate Cheng for so many years, so he naturally knew the words on it. When it turned around, another sentence appeared on it. The attendant read it out again, "Leave your name in the sky." At this time, the attendant saw clearly that the rotation of this thing depended on the two people below pushing a millstone made of wood. Every time it rotated, the thing tied by 4 ropes would turn one side in the sky. There were a total of 4 sides. After waiting for a few breaths of time, the thing above started to rotate again. Advertising, the first shop in Linshui. The attendant figured out that this was the thing between the clouds and the water had originally made. It was cheap and they used flags and banners. What they used here was an object that flew in the sky. The so-called first shop in Linshui was the name of a restaurant that was closest to the shore. If one wanted to go there, one could only go there by boat. It seemed that if one wanted to make this thing called advertisement, he had to find someone there. When the object above turned another side, the attendant opened his mouth wide. The words on it said, "Price, 10 taels per day." This is too expensive. Who would be stupid enough to do this advertisement? 10 taels of silver can do a lot of things. The attendant looked at the price and muttered, 10 taels of silver just to write a few words on the object that was about 3 meters in length and width. As long as one was not sick, no one would be willing to spend money like this. Let's go to the first shop in Linshui and have something to eat. It's almost noon. Although County Magistrate Cheng also felt that the price of this thing was too high, he still wanted to have a look. Along a small path, they came to the place where the smallest boat was parked. Before County Magistrate Cheng could speak, someone immediately asked, "County Magistrate, are you going there to have a meal?" Naturally, he was talking about the first family. County Magistrate Cheng nodded and got on the boat. The people on the boat paddled with both hands and the boat sailed towards the first family by the water. This restaurant was not built on purpose. Originally, they were planning to build a road on the shore. First, they built a section of the road. After the first floor of the restaurant was built, everyone realized that as soon as the water rose, the restaurant would be submerged in the water. When the builders were preparing to tear down the building, Song Jinggong suddenly thought of between the clouds and the water in Zhuangzi. Immediately, he found someone to ask how high the water level could reach in this place. An experienced person said that if the water level reached that high, the entire first level would be submerged. Song Jinggong was overjoyed. He immediately ordered people to continue the construction. They built 3 floors. Even if the water level was high, there would still be 2 floors above that could be used. Moreover, there might not be such a large amount of water. The first family by the water was built here, and it was the only restaurant here. The rest were all built behind. It had rained a few times this year. The rainfall in Sanshui County was not very heavy, but the river above had risen. When the water was released here, more than half of the first floor of the restaurant would be submerged in the water. No other restaurant could be like this one. Many people chose to eat here because of a special feeling, even if they were always worried that there would be a flood or that the boat would crash into the building. Sir, how long do you think the wood in the water can be submerged in the water? If it rots and something happens to the people who eat here, they will be sued. The attendant had only eaten here twice. The taste of the food was no different from other restaurants. He did not find that there was more meat in the minced meat and tofu. Instead, he felt that there was less vegetables. It won't rot within a year. Look, the wood has been soaked in oil. It will be fine for 3 to 5 years. When the water level is low, naturally, someone will come to check. If any of the pillars don't work, they will change them. Buddy, how many people do you have here? County Magistrate Cheng was not afraid of this restaurant at all. He stood at the bow of the boat and asked the person who rowed the boat, "Sir, there are more people here today than usual. The first floor is full of people who eat in the wooden boxes. Many people have gone up to the second and third floor. They haven't come down yet. I think more people will come later." The person who rowed the boat replied, "Do you know why?" "I know. It's because of the Kongming lanterns in the advertisement. The manager of the restaurant is in charge of this. As long as you want to buy a seat there, you have to come here. Eat first and tell the waiter inside. The manager will go in one by one to talk. Wine and dishes are not excluded." The person who rowed the boat replied. At this time, the attendant also said, "There are really stupid people? That's strange. Young man, you're wrong. Don't be fooled by the fact that it costs 10 taels of silver a day. Our capital isn't small either. The paper on the lamps needs to be properly glued. Just the oil used for the lamps costs several hundred copper coins a day. That's 24 hours a day. When people come back with several ships of goods, they have to yell for buyers or go to the agency set up by Shuiyun brothel here. That's also a lot of money. If a ship of goods costs more than 1,000 taels of silver, it's better to leave a seat on the lanterns. Otherwise, it will cost 15 to 20 taels of silver to go to the agency. A few days ago, 6 ships of cloth and silk came here and wanted to sell here. In the end, they spent more than 70 taels of silver, and that was after the agency gave them a low price. Seeing that County Magistrate Chang and the attendant were not in a hurry, the person who rowed the boat slowly said to help advertise this place. Young Master Song said that they were not only in charge of rowing the boat, but also in charge of attracting customers. He said that they were external boatmen. When there were fewer people, these rowers could go to other places to do work. For example, they could help a merchant send a few people to the shore. For example, when there was a shortage of people to unload goods, they had to take care of it. Even if a merchant fell ill, they had to help find someone to treat them. If they wanted to chat, as long as they were not busy, they would also accompany them. They did not know why they did this. Usually, when they helped others, they would not charge them. They just needed to let people know that they were specially hired by the docks. The 3 people who were not in a hurry began to float on the water. The attendant heard about this from the waiter, but he also did not understand. Aren't they stupid? It's natural to work for others and earn money. If we don't help them, they won't come to the docks. If you don't understand, then don't talk nonsense. Zhongjia Zhuangzi is worried that the county magistrate will want to get some benefits. What if he wants to build a dock on the other shore at the risk of being impeached when there is not enough water? As long as there is someone behind him, he will not be afraid of being impeached. If such a thing really happens, the merchants will be used to the treatment of the workers here. As long as there is a business, they will definitely think of this dock first. County Magistrate Cheng thought more than the attendant. He knew that it was not just about the monetary benefits, but also the feeling of familiarity. Merchants would not care about such a small amount of money. What they cared about was who treated them sincerely, where they could dock, and where they felt comfortable. Zhongjia Zhuangzi was preparing for a rainy day. Sir, you are the best. We did not expect that there would be such benefits. We were also instructed to introduce the situation here to the passengers, such as which restaurant has the best food, how much each dish costs, and so on. We even have to tell them clearly about some business matters. Young Master Song said that there is no need to be afraid of offending the agency. No matter how much we remember, it is not as comprehensive as the agency. The agency can take care of almost everything, as long as you are willing to pay. When the waiter heard County Magistrate Cheng's words, he was suddenly enlightened. Although he said that, he was also calculating in his heart. It was too easy to work for such a person. He did not have to worry about being schemed against one day. County Magistrate Chang nodded and pointed at the first restaurant near the water. The waiter immediately rowed the boat there. When the two of them stepped on the stairs that extended into the water, the waiter turned the boat around. He looked around and found that no one was calling for him. There was nothing else, so he rowed again to the place where the boat was waiting for guests. How is it? Now you know why they are so good, right? County Magistrate Cheng went directly to the third floor and did not go to the roof where the view was wider. Now the wind was not as strong as before, but the clouds were still dark. It seemed that it would rain soon. Sir, I know. But what is the use of that lantern? If it were me, I would also get a lantern like that on the boat. It does not cost a single copper coin. They did not say that we could not do that. The attendant still did not understand the advertisement and felt that there were many omissions in it. Just ask the manager here. Waiter, get your manager here. County Magistrate Cheng did not explain to the attendant directly. Instead, he ordered the waiter beside him to serve the dishes. The waiter immediately turned around and left. Naturally, there were other people who helped to serve the dishes. County Magistrate Cheng did not need to order dishes here. He could go to any restaurant that belonged to Zhongjia Zhuangzi and just sit there and wait. It had become a habit for him to serve the signature dishes. Unless he really wanted to eat something, he would order the waiter alone. County Magistrate Cheng and his attendant did not choose a private room. Instead, they sat in a small area on the third floor that was separated by a screen. Before the manager arrived, they heard someone talking on the other side of the screen. Mr. Jin, I heard that this time the Mi family and Zhuangzi are going to fight. They want to scheme against Zhuangzi. I wonder which side Mr. Jin is willing to help. The seeds there are really too expensive. I heard a few days ago that 1 mu of land can produce 5 dawn of grain at most. Originally, I wanted to buy some, but who knew that Zhuangzi would ask for too much? 100 copper coins per catty. 1 mu of land would cost 150 to 60 copper coins. At most, we can produce about 2 dawn of additional grain. There are about 20 catties. If 1 catty is 10 copper coins, we will only get 200 copper coins. All of it will go to the seed seller. Chapter 184. When County Magistrate Chang heard this, he signaled for his subordinates to keep quiet and listened carefully. The speaker sounded like a male duck, which was not very comfortable to listen to. What Mr. Wang said is right, but it depends on how you calculate it. If you only calculate 1 year's worth, you will lose money. But since you sold the seeds, you can keep some for next year's harvest. You can spend a lot of money to plant the seeds for countless years. So it's still a big profit. Besides, the price you gave is too low. A dough of rice is not a dough of millet. How can you buy it with 10 copper coins? Unless you sell it to other grain stores, but you and I have our own grain stores. Which one of us doesn't have some means to get some land? As long as you plant it, you can sell grain and seeds if you want. Hearing this, it should be Mr. Jean who said it. County Magistrate Cheng nodded. He agreed with this person's words. Some people on the other side also agreed. Mr. Jean is right. The two of them in Zhuangzi can't sell the seeds too far away. They just want to make more money this year. Next year, we don't know who will get the money. If Mr. Wang doesn't want to buy, you can discuss it with the Mi family. Maybe when the Mi family succeeds, they will give you some seeds for free. Humph, what is the Mi family? They are just a small firm. Do I need to curry favor with them? At worst, I will find a way myself. When Mr. Wang heard this, his tone changed. He was no longer gloating. Instead, he was a little angry. That person didn't seem to want to let him go so easily. He said, Mr. Wang is really powerful, but I don't know if his men are as powerful as that Mr. Liu. In just a few years, the Mi family went from a small shop to what it is now. They have 6 grain stores. There are 2 in the capital and 4 in other places. Let's talk about it later. Maybe the Mi family will suffer a loss this time. Let's drink. Let's not talk about it. Mr. Wang didn't want to be entangled in this kind of thing. As long as he was involved, he wouldn't talk about it. All right, let's eat, let's eat. It's almost noon now. It seems that the Mi family will be here in the afternoon. Let's go and watch the show then. We'll see who wins and loses the 9,000-year-old grain. Another person tried to smooth things over. For a moment, there was only the sound of eating and chatting. No one talked about the seed anymore. Seeing that he could not hear anything else, County Magistrate Cheng also began to eat slowly. His attendant was in charge of serving the food and pouring wine for him. Only when he was free would he be able to take a bite. This was already good enough for him. If it were others, they could only stand aside. County Magistrate, are you free today? Just now, I was discussing the matter of the advertisement with someone and was delayed. Today, Zhuangzi sent some tremella over. They're not for sale, they're specifically giving it to a few of the restaurant's shopkeepers. In a moment, I'll have someone cook it with camellia and bring it over for Darren. It'll be just nice to cool off the summer heat. When County Magistrate Chang and his attendant were eating, the shopkeeper of the restaurant hurried over. Hearing that he would cook the tremella in a moment, County Magistrate Chang knew that the tremella had already been cooked before he came. He smiled and said, "You don't have to be so polite. You work for a good master and can even eat tremella. It's a good life." "You're right, Darren. It's really a good life. Not to mention the high salary, we usually send the good things here to each shopkeeper to take back. Daren't you coming here today to see what's going on between the Mi family and the master?" The shopkeeper didn't regard himself as an outsider. He was used to seeing the county magistrate all the time. Every time he went back and told his 2 concubines at home, they would look at him with admiration. While speaking, the shopkeeper filled County Magistrate Cheng's wine cup and said, "Darren, I'm not sure either. It's said that the master is very powerful, but how can we trick them when it's obviously a matter of losing money? What's so powerful about it? There's already a middleman's place, yet he still wants to make such a big advertisement. With such an advertisement, who would be stupid enough to go to the middleman's place to look for business?" The attendant was also worried. He was a little resentful that Iron did not live up to his expectations, so he whispered at the side. The shopkeeper didn't care. He smiled and explained to him, or to County Magistrate Cheng, "I thought so too at first. Later on, I realized that it's not that simple. There's only one Kongming lantern for the advertisement. When it's good enough, we'll make a lot of them. When those people can't get the advertisement, they'll naturally go to the intermediary. Moreover, young Master Song said that I'll be the one to discuss the advertisement this time. In the future, this matter will be handed over to the intermediary. If the intermediary has other tricks that they haven't shown, we'll know when the time comes." "Yes, that's right. I always thought that Zhongjia Zhuangzi wouldn't do things so simply. They would always leave a backup plan. When people feel that they're taking advantage of them, they're also making money. Just now, I asked you to come over to ask about the advertisement. You should continue with your work. County Magistrate Cheng was relieved. Since they said that they weren't in a hurry, there wouldn't be any mistakes. When the time came, they could make a few hundred taels of silver a day. Even if they valued the lanterns a little more, with 1 tael of silver a day, they could still make 9 taels of silver. After all, the place belonged to them. If they didn't count the lanterns, 50 a day, they would still have more than 400 taels of silver. That would be 4,000 taels of silver in 10 days. What about a month? Wasn't this a little too scary? The shopkeeper had already stood up. When he saw County Magistrate Chang calculating, he said, "Sir, I know that you're calculating the monthly profit. In fact, it's not that much. This advertisement has been agreed upon, and you have to pay taxes. After paying 20% of the tax, you still have to buy a new boat and make arrangements. You saw those people who buy liangpi and jianbing guo. Their liangpi and oil have to go to Zhuangzi to buy them. Everyone buys them once. Zhuangzi only earns a few copper coins. The lanterns can't be advertised all the time. As long as a certain scholar writes something good, he has to write it on the lanterns." Yes, that's true. When the novelty dies down, the price of the Kongming lanterns can't be the same. The merchants in the various fleets will naturally make lanterns on their own boats. Who else would be willing to spend such a high price? County Magistrate Cheng also knew that it wasn't easy to do business here. The purpose of paying taxes was to let the government take care of them. There couldn't be too many Kongming lanterns. Otherwise, if they blocked each other, who would be able to see them? After the shopkeeper left, the attendant asked softly, "Sir, do you really think that they won't make money?" How can they not make money? These shopkeepers who are hired from other places at high prices are all shrewd. They say one thing but they think another. County Magistrate Cheng picked up his wine cup and finished it in one gulp. Then won't the Zhang family become the richest family in Tang in a few years? The attendant calculated the money and said in surprise, "Dream on. It's their first year doing this. Others may not know, but won't they learn? There are so many rivers. Smart people will do what they want. When we came here just now, there were already people who specially paddled small boats and hawked on the river. The river doesn't belong to the Zhang family. If they get a few big boats, advertise, and buy food, the money will be less and less. How many rich people do you know? Do you know how much money they have? Any one of those big families can use money to bury Zhongjia Zhuangzi. The bigger the business, the more people they will offend, and the more places they need to take care of." While County Magistrate Cheng was satisfied with Zhongjia Zhuangzi's speed of making money, he was also worried about them. He didn't know how many pairs of eyes were watching them. No one knew who spread the news of Zhongjia Zhuangzi's loss this time. Just after noon, many people came here. They wanted to see how the Zhuangzi, who bought this place and took advantage of it, would deal with it this time. There were some businessmen, some craftsmen who had nothing to do, and some people who came here to sell snacks. The sky was still so cloudy. No one knew when the heavy rain would fall. The people who specialized in selling umbrellas looked up at the sky from time to time, hoping that the rain would get heavier and heavier. After lunch, County Magistrate Cheng floated on the river with his attendant again. There were already many people waiting on the river. There were too many people on the shore, so it was a bit crowded. As a result, the space in the river seemed a bit narrow. They needed to make way for the cargo boat. Fortunately, County Magistrate Cheng had foresight. He was wearing an official's robe, so no one dared to let the boat squeeze him. While everyone was waiting, a cloud of dust rose in the distance. A few horses were running in the front, followed by 3 well-decorated carriages. There was a flag on the side of the carriages with the word, "Me," written on it. Here they come. When everyone saw this situation, they knew that the Mi family's business people had arrived. They began to look for Song Jinggong. Usually, the people here already knew the person in charge of this place. When the Mi family's team came close, the people in the crowd made way for them to cross the bridge. When the team stopped, people from the first two carriages jumped off. When the others stood still, the door of the middle carriage was opened. Two people came out. One was Mr. Me, and the other was his think tank, Lou. Look, there are so many people. Brother Lou, we are really in the limelight this time. Have you arranged the people to spread the news? Mr. Me got off the carriage. Looking at the cloudy sky, he was in a good mood. He clasped his hands behind his back and said to the person next to him, "Don't worry, mister. In a moment, they will spread the news and let everyone here know." Lu Zhizai had a well-thought-out appearance. At this time, Song Jinggong also knew. He walked out of a nearby shop. He didn't have such a big entourage. He was only followed by two people who did odd jobs. He quickly walked over and said to Boss Me, "Forgive me, we came out a little late." Boss Me is indeed a man of his word. He said that he would come in the afternoon and arrived in the afternoon. Chapter 185. Boss Me felt that he would definitely be the winner today. He wanted to look down on Song Jinggong, but he realized that he was shorter than Song Jinggong. He could only give up on this idea and replied with a fake smile. "What are you talking about, young Master Song? We came late and made you anxious. This is the money we brought. Young Master Song, please count it. This time, I finally know that young Master Song and that Zhongjia Zhuangzi are both very kind people. They actually made a losing deal." While Boss Me was speaking, someone had already carried out the boxes from the carriage behind. No one knew how they did it. When the boxes were opened, there were a large amount of copper coins and a small amount of other things. Other than silver, there were also some cloth and silk. Only now did everyone know why only one person came down from the carriage behind. It turned out that there were so many things inside. Not only the carriage behind, but also the carriage in front of Boss Me also carried out the money. This time, it was to buy 9,000 dan of old grain, a total of more than 600 taels of silver. Song Jinggong didn't hold back. He immediately had people count the money. From time to time, the sound of counting could be heard. This situation made Boss Me's face turn ugly. He didn't find a place to rest and directly counted the money. Could it be that he and the others were not here, and he counted the wrong amount? How could he miss you? It was obvious that he didn't trust them. He wasn't the only one who thought so. The surrounding people also had the same thought. In the past, when young Master Song was doing business with others, he had never done this. For these common people and people who had dealt with Song Jinggong before, if Song Jinggong didn't trust them, they would also doubt him. While the money was being counted, Lu Zhizan's people began to spread the news among the crowd. "Did you hear? This time, the Zhang family is a bit muddle-headed. They actually did such a thing." A person said to the person next to him. The person next to him immediately said, "That's right. Are they stupid? Sigh, we can't trust them anymore in the future. What if they do the same to us one day? How are we going to live? We don't have as much money as them." That's right. They actually used new grain to exchange for old grain. Are they stupid? Sigh, we can't trust them anymore. Don't you know? I've heard that Zhongjia Zhuangzi's grain can't be used as seeds at all, and they don't have a high yield either. They buy grain from outside so that others won't guess that their grain came from elsewhere. That's why they purposely use the excuse of exchanging grain for others. Another person from the same team also spoke. The three of them deliberately lowered their voices when they spoke, but their voices were so low that it could be heard. However, it was not soft at all, so that the people around them could hear it clearly. I don't think so. I think their business is pretty good. Look, the people in the county buy liangpi from them and all of them earn some money to support their families. I heard that they don't earn much. When a Sanshui County resident heard this, he unhappily retorted. The three of them laughed in their hearts. Finally, someone answered. The person who had started speaking again said, "That's right. What do you know? Not to mention the high production rate, even the auspicious sign was a lie. The current county magistrate should know this, right? He's going to be transferred away soon. He's going to be a registrar at another place. From a county magistrate to a registrar, isn't that a demotion? Zhongjia Zhuangzi is finished this time. I won't buy from them in the future. Otherwise, I'll be unlucky too. That's right, that's right. I won't buy from them either. I bought 2 servings of liangpi last time. After eating it, my stomach hurt. I heard that there's a lot of dirty things in it. Otherwise, how could it be sold at such a low price? Also, the vegetable oil is made from the soybeans. Just thinking about it scares me. Soybeans, eating too much will make one's stomach hurt. Another person echoed. He wanted to get rid of Zhongjia Zhuangzi's business from the root. The remaining third person looked at the pier and shook his head. I heard that when this pier was being built, a huge snake appeared. That's the mountain god. They dug up his place. It looks fine now, but I don't know how many people will be unlucky in the future. I would rather buy expensive goods delivered by horse and carriage from other places than buy from this pier. When he spoke, he deliberately made his voice tremble. The people around him started to sweat. They didn't know who to believe. There were indeed cases of snakes being dug up. Some people even saw it with their own eyes. Now that they thought about it, they felt that it was really a mountain god. There were many people who were responsible for spreading this kind of news. Not only did many people know about it, but the merchants also heard about it and became suspicious. What's going on? Why are there such rumors? County Magistrate Cheng stood on the boat. There were also people on the boats next to him telling him about it. His attendant knew that he was being asked, but he didn't know either. He could only call for a boat and jump on it. When he came to the shore, he found Song Jinggong, who was waiting for someone to count the money. Young Master Song, it seems that there's trouble. There are many rumors about Zhongjia Zhuangzi. Do you know what's going on? Quickly think of a solution. Song Jinggong looked around and found that some people were looking at him in a different way. There were also 2 or 3 people walking around in groups, occasionally stopping to talk. Seeing this, Song Jinggong smiled and said to County Magistrate Cheng's attendant, "Mr. Cheng, let's go." "It's okay." Who else can spread rumors at this time? Of course it's that boss me. I heard that he has a think tank with the surname Lu. I thought that he could come up with a good idea, but it turned out to be this. In this case, let's do the same thing as them. Xiao Zhou, come here and do as we said before. Song Jinggong said and ordered a person beside him. That person left immediately. The attendant didn't understand and asked, "Young Master Song, you thought of this? What are you going to do?" "I have to go back and tell the Lord. I thought of it long ago, but I didn't want to use this method. Since Boss Me doesn't follow the rules, then don't blame us for using the same method. Go back and tell the Lord that everything is under control. The masters in Zhuangzi arranged it before I came." Song Jinggong said to County Magistrate Cheng's attendant and then looked at Boss Me, who was walking about 10 steps away from him. Boss Me happened to look at him at the same time. Song Jinggong smiled at Wei Wei and pointed around. Everything was understood without words. Boss Me was stunned when he saw Song Jinggong smile. When Song Jinggong pointed around again, Boss Me felt that the fire in his heart was extinguished immediately. He looked around worriedly and turned his head away, ignoring Song Jinggong. He said to Lu Jitsun, "Brother Lu, that Song Jinggong seems to know that we are the ones spreading the rumors. He smiled at me just now. What should we do?" "Boss, don't worry. At this time, as long as he is not a fool, he will know that he did it on purpose to scare us. Unfortunately, it's too late for him to think of a way. I guess he is anxious now." Lu Jitsai still had that calm look on his face, as if he had even calculated this. Boss Me was relieved after hearing his words. He wanted to return Song Jinggong's smile, but he found that Song Jinggong was no longer looking at him. "Lord, I have heard that Child Song said it was Boss Me who arranged it." The attendant went back to County Magistrate Cheng's boat and said. County Magistrate Cheng was obviously not satisfied with this answer. "Of course I know it was Boss Me who arranged it. I just want you to ask him if there is any way." "Yes, Child Song said there is no need to worry. Everything is under control. He said that the masters of the Zhang family had already thought of it before he came. If Boss Me didn't do it, he wouldn't do it. This time he arranged someone to do it. Maybe it will be clear in a while. The attendant repeated Song Jinggong's words almost word by word. Well, that's good. I was too anxious. There is a master there. What should I be afraid of? The master's methods are not something you and I can understand. County Magistrate Cheng showed a smile on his face. The anxiety just now disappeared. At this time, Xiao Jiu's side started to move. Similarly, many people walked into the crowd and stared at those who were spreading rumors. Those people didn't react and continued to talk. Have you heard? The rice production in Zhangjia Zhuangzi is not that high. It's all a lie. Who said that? Why don't I know? Hey, are you from Sanshui County? Why haven't I seen you before? Which Zhuangzi? What's your surname? Where were you when I went to collect the old grain? Do you know my name? As soon as that person said that, another person on the other side followed and said, Yes, why haven't I seen you in Sanshui County? And you? Did someone arrange for you to come here to deliberately make trouble? I heard that Boss Me is a black-hearted person. He wants to put the old grain with the new grain and sell it to us when our harvest is not good. Zhangjia Zhuangzi is afraid that they will do this and make us suffer, so he took the initiative to exchange the new grain. Where is the new grain? All the good grain in the surrounding area has been taken away by that Boss Me. He sold it to Zhangjia Zhuangzi at twice the usual price. Really? After hearing what you said, I feel that it is true. Otherwise, why would that Boss Me buy 9,000 dan of grain? Some of the grain is already moldy. He can't be so kind as to throw it away, right? Then why didn't he directly send the good grain to us? A person who cooperated with him said. No, it's not like that. Boss Me is a good person. He just wants to buy seeds at a low price. It's true. The person sent by Boss Me was anxious and told the truth. The surrounding people had a look of understanding. What do you mean by true or false? Look, you were sent by that Boss Me, right? Grandma, don't try to quibble. We will know when we see the old grain that he wants to collect. Don't even think about running away. Stop, take them to the officials. The people sent by Song Jinggong did not expect that someone would actually tell the truth. Now, they could not deny it. They grabbed the two people's clothes and did not let go. The people around them also angrily helped them. This was too bad. This me person was really too bad. Chapter 186. When Song Jinggong arranged the people, he had already instructed them to capture the people and hand them over to the county magistrate. As for what crime they would be charged with, it would depend on how much Li Chengyi cared about his province. He would not let Boss Me have an easy time. The surroundings suddenly became chaotic. Song Jinggong immediately signaled to the person who was counting the money. That person nodded and shouted, "The amount of money is just right. Boss Me, the money is not bad. Look at the old grain we collected. If you think it's enough, then we can ship it away." Song Jinggong smiled with satisfaction and walked a few steps forward and said to Boss Me. At this moment, Boss Me also realized that the situation around him was not right, but he did not want to delay. He was afraid that a long night might cause trouble. His purpose was to get the old grain and let the Zhang family suffer a big loss. Most importantly, he wanted to tell other people in the same trade not to be afraid of Zhangjia Zhuangzi and work together to lower the price. Hearing the chaos around him, he immediately asked people to check if the goods were grain. There were 9,000 dan of grain, more than 400 tons. They were not packed in gunny sacks, otherwise, they would look more neat. A gunny sack usually contained 100 kilograms. Zhang Xiaobao was not willing to take out more than 4,000 gunny sacks, which were close to 5,000 kilograms. All of the grains were placed in a pile made of mats. Each one of them was like a small mountain, making people dizzy just by looking at them. The inspectors went over to open up a few gaps and inserted a bamboo tube inside. When they pulled it out, they could see the grains clearly. After inserting the bamboo tube into several places around the pile, they looked up at such a high pile and even wanted to climb up to take a look. Someone brought a ladder over and let him walk around the top. When he didn't find anything wrong, he nodded at Boss Me. Boss Me finally felt relieved. He could only think of other ways because of the situation around him. He found the person who was guarding beside him, took the document and pressed his fingerprint. When Song Jingong pressed his fingerprint, he did not wait for Boss Me to say anything. Song Jingong shouted first, "Boss Me, why are you collecting so much old grain? Do you want to mix it with the new grain and sell it? I advise Boss Me not to have this idea. Otherwise, if someone dies, you can't afford to pay for it. Why do you care?" Boss Me really did plan to do that. Now that Song Jingong said it out loud, he was a little angry. After saying this, he felt that the eyes of the people around him were not right. He quickly said, "Of course, I won't do that. I just want to help the people. Since Mr. Me has said so, there is one thing I don't understand. Why didn't Mr. Me go to each farmer's house to collect old grain? Instead, he waited for us to buy new grain and ask for sky-high prices?" Song Jingong was not going to let him go at this time. Boss Me didn't expect that he would be questioned after buying this thing. He didn't want to answer, but when he saw the unfriendly gazes of the people around him, he was worried that he wouldn't be able to go back alive. He could only force a smile. Mr. Me really doesn't know. Mr. Me has been staying in between the clouds and the water for the past few days. It must be that the people below didn't do a good job. When Mr. Me goes back, I won't let that person off easily. What else does Mr. Song have to say? Song Jingong slightly shook his head. Next to him, a person was standing on top of a restaurant, holding a tube made of iron. One end was big, while the other was small. He put the small end in front of his mouth and shouted, "Brother, I'm here." Because of the recent increase in grain prices, it means that grain is more valuable. Therefore, the price of Zhongjia Zhuangzi seeds has increased to 150 copper coins per caddy. Those who want to buy them should bring their own hands and tools to the fields over there to cut them, so as not to worry that Zhongjia Zhuangzi will change the grain. After this person shouted, many people started to curse. Some said that Zhongjia Zhuangzi was black-hearted, while others said that they would lose money after buying the seeds. At this time, Song Jingong's people played a role again. They said in the crowd that since grain could increase the price, why would they lose money after buying the seeds? If they wanted to find someone, they should find Mr. Me. He was the one who raised the price of grain. When the crowd heard this, they felt that it was right. Zhongjia Zhuangzi's new grain was already so expensive, why couldn't the seeds increase as well? That damned Mr. Me, he should die a horrible death. The commoners only scolded a few words, and they might not necessarily buy the seeds. However, the people from the other grain companies were different from the commoners. Right now, they were gnashing their teeth in hatred. They didn't know whether to hate the Zhang and Wang families, or this Boss Me. If they hated Zhang Wang and Zhuangzi, they felt that they were in the wrong. They didn't buy the seeds before the price increase because they were waiting to see what would happen. They were waiting for Mr. Me to scheme against Zhuangzi and lower the price. Mr. Me's reason was right. If the grain price increased, then the seeds would also increase. If they really wanted to investigate, it was Mr. Me who deliberately raised the price of grain. What was his motive for raising the price at such a time? On the other hand, the Zhang Wang and Zhuangzi sold the new grain at a lower price. Mr. Me and the others also felt that the reason was not enough. They secretly supported him. Not to mention other things, when the Zhang Wang and Zhuangzi found their land here, they ordered everyone to announce that there was no more grain in the store. It was already good enough that the Zhang Wang and Zhuangzi didn't hate them. Look, the price went up just for them. Mr. Jean, you see now? Those Zhuangzi are not easy to deal with. The more we suppress them, the more they resist. The price suddenly increased by half. A person from the grain company next to Mr. Jean said. The others were a bit regretful and nodded. Mr. Jean thought about it and sneered, "Don't be afraid, this is their last resort. If they want to die, then let them. We can work together and not send grain here. There are many common people here. I don't believe they are willing to turn the seeds into grain. Yes, Mr. Jean is right. No matter what, they lost to Mr. Me this time. I don't see how capable they are, so we are not afraid of him. Another person agreed. All the merchants nodded in agreement, but before they could finish nodding, the racks on the other side fell down one after another. To be precise, someone had used a knife to cut open the racks on the outside, allowing the racks to fall down. Young Master Song, what is the meaning of this? Mr. Me and the common people around were shocked. Fortunately, someone stopped them from coming closer. Nothing, Mr. Me. You bought old grain, don't tell me you want to buy our mats too? The grain is yours, so of course I have to take back the mats. It will be cold in a few days, so these mats will burn for a few days. Zhuangzi bought the new grain and exchanged the old grain, but we haven't sold the seeds yet. You are so poor, you don't know the hunger of a hungry man. Song Jinggong explained loudly with an innocent face. Mr. Me was so angry that he almost vomited blood. How much could those mats be worth? Zhuangzi's grain was at a disadvantage, but was this dock just for decoration? How many ships were coming in and out every day? Good. Hee, other than doing this, what else can you do to recover your losses? Mr. Me was so angry that he was trembling. He only felt better after Lu Zhitsai comforted him. It was just that the grain was stained with sand. That's good, he could put it together with the other grain. Mr. Me pointed at Song Jinggong and was ready to ask someone to get a sack to store the grain. Song Jinggong said at this time, Mr. Me, I did lose a lot. When I exchanged the old grain, I was distressed. It was such a good grain, but I exchanged it for almost 1,000 dan of moldy grain. Fortunately, Mr. Me bought it. I will ask someone to store it first. I will definitely treat Mr. Me to a good meal. Let's go to the first restaurant next to Lin Shui. What 8,000 dan? Moldy? Mr. Me was stunned and asked in confusion. At the side, Lu Zhitsan's expression changed. He hastily ran to the scattered piles of food and crawled to the middle of the pile. He dug with both hands, but he was dumbfounded. He ran to the next pile and did the same thing for a while. Then he turned his head and shouted to Song Jinggong, Song Jinggong, Song Jinggong, you can't do this. The grain is moldy. You have to pay for it. Where is the document? Where is the guarantor? Song Jinggong sold us moldy grain. As he spoke, he ran towards Mr. Me. The document was still in Mr. Me's arms. Song Jinggong frowned. What are you shouting for? It is written on the document. Moldy old grain. Don't you know what moldy means? It is not a good grain. Do you expect it to be the same as the new grain? Then why did you give the Zhuangzi to the people in the county? Although Song Jinggong said that, he was laughing in his heart. The young master was so smart. He started to sprinkle water on the grain as soon as he collected it. It was a hot day. It would be strange if the grain was not moldy when it was piled together. Only on the last day, he put the grain outside the pile. In order to make it moldy faster, he even found a lot of rotten grass. At this time, Lu Zhitsai opened the document. It was indeed written on the document. The guarantor also came over and explained to Lu Zhitsai and Mr. Me that the Zhang family's document was correct. It did not say that the food was old. Otherwise, what would they exchange for? Those owners who were thinking of ways to deal with Zhang family and Wang family suddenly felt cold sweat all over their bodies. Zhang family and Wang family were too cruel to the Zhuangzi family. They naturally knew how to make the grain moldy, but they did not expect that they would use it at this time. Mr. Jean, do we still want to join forces to stop the supply? The owner who asked the question earlier asked with a trembling voice. Mr. Jean swallowed his saliva and blinked. He looked around and said, Let's wait. Everyone wait. Let's go to Zhangjia Zhuangzi together and discuss the price. Is this better? Everyone nodded in unison. They were frightened by the Zhang and Wang families' ruthlessness and methods. Even Master Mi's family wouldn't be able to afford the cost of a boat. Looking at the gazes of the surrounding people who had boats, they probably wouldn't ask for less. At this time, a few people walked out of the crowd. The person in front was wearing a brocade shirt and embroidered trousers. He said to Mr. Mi, "Mr. Mi, you don't have to do this. I have a grudge against Zhongjia Zhuangzi. Why don't you sell these old grains to me? I will give you 100 taels of silver to make you look better. I will say that it is 1,000 taels of silver. I will give you 100 taels of silver and we will discuss how to deal with Zhongjia Zhuangzi in the future." Really? Really? You are willing to buy things that you can't even earn back the cost of the shipping? Mr. Mi seemed to have found hope. Just like what this person said, his face would be much better. Yes, I will not let Zhongjia Zhuangzi go. Only Song Jinggong and County Magistrate Cheng knew this person. The person beside Zhou Shihu's uncle said with certainty. He looked like he was gnashing his teeth. Song Jinggong quickly turned his head away so that no one could see that he was trying to hold back his laughter. Chapter 187. A few flashes of lightning, like a dream of the past. Unfortunately, it would never happen again. Everyone at the docks gathered to relax. After a clap of thunder, Boss Mi finally recovered from his endless regret and inexplicable joy. He looked at the person he had never seen before and asked, "Why did you help me?" "I just said that I have a grudge against Zhong Wang and Zhuangzi. If they have a good time, I will not have a good time." 100 taels of silver. You said it was 1,000 taels of silver. Are you selling? The person deliberately stared at Song Jinggong with a sinister look. Yes. Boss Mi also held his breath. It was too embarrassing. He had to fight for some face. As the person made the announcement, Boss Mi left with his people while the others could not see clearly. Just as he walked across the bridge, the bailiff of Sanshui County came up to him and whispered something in his ear. Boss Mi's face immediately turned pale. He looked back at the people who were watching him leave and forced a smile. He asked Lotzi to take out a string of money and gave it to the bailiff. After thanking the bailiff for not directly arresting him, he followed behind him and walked towards the yamen. Hua! The people at the docks made a commotion. Boss Mi was taken away by the bailiff. It was not a good thing. The sounds of discussion gradually died down after Master Mi's figure disappeared. The common people, the boatmen on the river, and the grain merchants who were shocked by the Zhang and Wang families' ruthless methods turned their eyes to the person who was willing to spend money to buy moldy grain. Those who were sensible knew that this person would not spend 1,000 taels of silver. They saw that when the two received the money, it was only a small box. Those who were close and had good ears heard that it was 100 taels of silver. Under the urge to show off, this matter was quickly known by everyone. Even so, there were still people who said that this person was stupid. How could the moldy grain be worth 100 taels of silver? The transportation cost was not small. If he wanted to mix it with good grain, it would turn the good grain into moldy grain. Just as everyone was puzzled, the grain collector who had been walking around the grain walked in front of Song Jinggong. He cupped his hands and said, "Young Master Song, the matter here is done. I have to go back and inform the Lord. I won't stay here any longer. Farewell. Take care." Song Jinggong returned the greeting. The two of them were not speaking softly, and the people standing not far away could hear them clearly. More astonishment and shock spread through the crowd again. "Everyone, please listen to what I have to say." After Song Jinggong waited for the person to leave, he took the simple loudspeaker and stood at a slightly higher place, shouting to the people around him. After shouting a few more times, the surrounding crowd finally quietened down. Those who were nearby raised their heads while those who were further away tiptoed, wanting to hear what Song Gongzi was saying. "Ladies and gentlemen, is there anyone at home who can brew wine? When the old grain is fermented into wine, a small family can get half a gene. If you want to make wine specifically, you will need to spend some money to buy more wine. Each wine bucket is 120 copper coins. The quantity is limited, so please buy quickly." Song Jinggong waited for the others to stop talking, then he began to sell the wine. 9,000 shur of moldy old grain was perfect for making wine. Otherwise, he would not have spent money to buy it back. According to this price, he could make almost twice the profit in the end. After shouting, Song Jinggong did not dare to delay. Otherwise, when the rain came, he did not know what would happen. At this time, he also needed to grasp the situation. He called for a large number of people to start moving the grain to the depths of the mountain. The master who knew how to make music was already waiting there. The grain was peeled and the grain was steamed. After Song Jinggong and his people left, more than half of the old grain was gone in the blink of an eye. There were still people moving the grain, but the people who were left at the dock were all stunned. Good calculation. This time is just right. If we keep it, it can be used to make wine. If we ship it out, it will have maggots. Let's go to Zhongjia Zhuangzi to discuss the price of the seeds. Master Jin sighed and said helplessly. The people beside him could not help but admire his ability. He calculated everything just right. With that price, even if they lost some of the moldy grain, they could earn back the money in the end. It was estimated that the wine made from the grain would still be worth close to 400 taels of silver at such a low price. In addition to the money they cheated from Master Mi and the money they spent to buy the new grain at a high price, they still had some savings. A master surnamed Lu closed his eyes and thought for a while. He said to Master Jin, "That's fine. We can only discuss it properly. I'll say something that will make everyone laugh. I'm really afraid of that Zhuangzi. If it was someone else, both sides would have suffered losses. Zhang Wang Zhuangzi can actually still make money at this time. I've learned something new." Following his words, everyone walked towards the place where the horses and carriages were hired. They did not care if it was going to rain soon. They just wanted to get there early to show their sincerity. When they arrived at the place where the horses and carriages were hired, someone asked them, "Everyone, do you make wine?" "What should I do if I don't brew it?" Lu Dongjia frowned and asked. "We collect wine dregs and wine grains. 1 stone for 1 copper coin. As long as it's not too far away, we can bring it back." The master of the carriage smiled and replied, "Why do we collect this? Over there, young Master Song just took away 9,000 stone worth of grain. When he's done there will be a lot of dregs, right?" Another master asked. "Yes, it was young Master Song who ordered us to collect them. When the time comes, we will ask who comes to buy the wine. I heard that it has a big use. As for what kind of use, I don't know." The master of the carriage was still smiling. Big use? Could it be that, other than making wine to make money, the rest of the dregs can be used to make more money? Master Jin felt uncomfortable in his heart. When the rain fell, the hired horses and carriages led the way in front. The people of the grain store followed behind in their own carriages and headed towards Zhongjia Zhuangzi. "Xiao Bao, do you think the rain will come to our place? I think it's gloomy over there. If it really rains, the unharvested rice will be in trouble." Wang Wan sat by the riverside of Zhongjia Zhuangzi and asked Zhang Xiaobao, who was beside her. "So many old people said they won't. Let's just wait and see. I think those people will arrive before noon tomorrow. Otherwise, we will personally sell these seeds and not give them the last chance to make money." Zhang Xiaobao had an indifferent expression. "Who will make money? Our seeds are expensive, but the output is not that high after leaving the place. 150 copper coins per catty. Whoever buys it will have to pay." "So you're saying that to make the other grain merchants hate the master of the grains. When the time comes, you can make it cheaper. 60 to 70 copper coins per catty should be enough. Are you really planning to offend everyone? If they buy it back, it will be better than the original seeds. If the yield is increased by 10 to 20%, they will make a lot of money. Have you caught all the piglets?" Zhang Xiaobao rested his chin on his hand and said unhurriedly. Wang Wan nodded. "We should catch them. When the time comes, we can feed them distillers' grains. We can't do things that lose money. Do you know how to feed them?" "No. If others can feed them, we can find someone to try. It's just a matter of feeding them more or less. I don't believe that the pigs will die from eating. Well, let's just leave it there. Whoever comes up with the best method will be rewarded. I heard that there's going to be a big event in Little Luoshui. Why don't we go and have a look? It's not fun to stay at home all day. Wang Wan had never raised a pig before, so she could only arrange it for someone else. She also suggested going to Little Luoshui. She had never been there before. She didn't know how the construction of the pier was, and she didn't know what the lake there looked like. There was also a mountain for people to visit. This was the right time. Zhang Xiaobao looked at Wang Wan and said, "How old are you? You still want to have fun? Don't you know how to do more things?" "How old am I? Even people in their 50s or 60s know how to go on vacation. Do you want to go? Maybe you can come up with some ideas to make money." This time, I gave County Magistrate Cheng 20,000 taels of silver. My heart. Wang Wan was fighting for more benefits for herself. Zhang Xiaobao smiled and said, "Well, let's go. After we sell these seeds, we'll go. The whole family will go. Just leave the housekeeper behind. Let's go back. It's a little stuffy outside and it's so hot." When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan walked back, they felt that after the harvest season, it was really boring. The farmers had already received the money that could be exchanged for the rice that they should have kept. It was 5 times the grain that they bought outside. Naturally, they sold it as seeds. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan originally discussed giving all the money that should have gone to the farmers. For example, if they sold it by catty, 1 catty would be dozens of copper coins. However, the farmers had never sold seeds before, and there was no precedent for this calculation. If it was really calculated like this, the farmers' annual harvest would be frightening. Fortunately, the farmers thought of this first. They found a few old men and said that they should just get some grain like before. They knew that all this had something to do with the main family. Without the main family, there wouldn't be such a harvest. They didn't know how the main family did it, but in any case, the land was easy to plant and the yield was high. The main family of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan felt that it was too little to give only the previous harvest, so they forced it on the farmers. At first, the farmers said that they only needed to give twice as much. In the end, the main family gave 5 times as much. Even so, they still took advantage of many farmers. After discussion, they took out a part of it to build houses for the farmers, and also used it to ensure welfare. When night fell, the people who came from Little Luoshui arrived at Tuqiao village. They directly stayed at the restaurant between the clouds and the water. They ordered a lot of dishes, and while eating and drinking, they discussed the next day's price. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan called Steward Zhang over. They taught Steward Zhang about negotiating with the merchants in all aspects, so that he would know what problems he would face. After that, they didn't care anymore. "Xiaobao, if next year is like this year and we continue to plant seeds, do you think we will still have to give the farmers 5 times as much grain?" "I'm a little worried," Wang Wan asked while grinding ink when the two got up to study. Chapter 188. Zhang Xiaobao also stopped flipping through the book and thought about it. This was indeed a problem. They should have a higher income, but the farmers didn't dare to accept it. They didn't care about that little bit of money, but if they kept it at 5 times, what if they really sold the seeds next year? The exploitation of the farmers would be too great. After thinking for a while, Zhang Xiaobao discussed and said, "We'll build houses for the farmers this year. When they finish their work in the mountains, we'll build houses for them. They also have to make clothes, repair the roads, and invest more in medical care and schools. Maybe they'll feel better." "What about next year? Can you calculate next year's output? After they buy the seeds and go back and realize that the output isn't as high as ours, will they stop buying next year?" "We have to consider this," Wang Wan reminded him. Next year's output should be higher than this year's. As for whether they'll buy or not, I can't think of it. In fact, we can't calculate it like this. Our main family still has to ensure the safety of the farmers. If it were another main family, they would have been dealt with long ago. We also gave the farmers a chance to raise poultry and livestock and help them get the land. These are all the efforts of the main family. This year, someone bought the seeds, so we didn't reduce the rent. If no one buys next year, we can reduce the rent. We don't count on this money to live. I feel that our relationship with the farmers is more like that of a corporation and its employees. In the past, it was a share.
Zhang Xiaobao frowned as he analyzed.
Wang Wan's eyes lit up as she listened. She said, "That's right. Normally, the share of the employees means that the employees can create more value or use resources to invest. But we don't. The land belongs to us, and the farmers are only responsible for planting it. However, when it comes to income, we contribute the most. Why should we share with them? This way, we'll use the corporation's income to share with the ordinary employees. Due to the influence of history, we can give the farmers better treatment, but they have to meet the requirements."
Zhang Xiaobao picked up a pen and wrote 2 words on the paper: share and treatment.
He shook his head and put down the pen, saying, "That won't do. They still have one more thing to do, which is to help the main family keep some secrets.
They have a lot of things to do. For example, if you wake them up at night, they have to wake up. At that time, we should have given them overtime pay, right?"
It's not something that can be summed up by a system.
What should we do?
In the past, it was easy to solve the problem of low yields, but now it's stuck. We can't give more, we can't give less, and we can't give more.
Especially if we give more, will they leave Zhuangzi when they have more savings?
What you said is really possible. People always want a better life. For example, if we really give them all the money this time, each family will have a lot of money. They can do some business elsewhere.
It doesn't seem to work.
The contracts they signed are all death contracts.
They weren't like that before, but we made them sign them later.
Wang Wan thought about it and shook her head.
Zhang Xiaobao put his head on the table and kept muttering, "What should I do? What should I do?" Just as Wang Wan was feeling vexed, Zhang Xiaobao suddenly looked up and said, "I have a way."
"What way?" Wang Wan asked. "Tell them to give up on farming and focus on something else. We'll find new farmers and sign new contracts with the new farmers. This way, we'll solve the problem of too much food production and too much value. Our farmers always have some skills, at least we don't have to worry about them. We can assign some people to manage Zhuangzi's affairs and help Steward Zhang and Steward Wang. Then we can assign some people to open small stores in various places and give them some shares of the stores. Let all of them be small leaders. If we say that it's a group, it's originally just a group of upper and lower management. There is no middle management. Let them be the middle management. We don't have to worry about them not doing a good job. I can guide them, and we can also ask others to help guide them. We can also sign new contracts with them and give them more benefits and higher wages. At the same time, they must have more compensation when they want to leave."
Zhang Xiaobao finally solved a problem and said excitedly. Wang Wan listened to him and estimated the population of Zhuangzi.
Then she asked, "Can we solve all their jobs? There are a lot of people." "Yes, Little Luoshui is our place. With so many shops, we can solve 200 to 300 people. We can continue to raise the status of Xiaohong, pomegranate, and cherries. Except for the secret of the fungus and the hatching, we can divide the rest of the poultry into pieces and let the farmers manage them."
County Magistrate Cheng is about to enter the capital.
Although the capital is prosperous, it's not all big shops. There are also small shops. Pick a few smart ones and go there to occupy all the industries.
They don't need to make much money, but it's okay to lose some money. They don't want to do big business.
On the one hand, they can train these people.
On the other hand, when County Magistrate Cheng needs help, they can help.
In order to live a peaceful life, we can only let others take care of it.
Zhang Xiaobao also said these things.
This time, Wang Wan didn't find fault with him. She thought about the better life in the future. She thought about the family traveling around, planting fruit trees, and eating their own fruits. After a while, the two of them started to learn. Jiang Wang clan looked at the room with the lights on outside the courtyard.
She found Steward Zhang and talked to him. Then she went to Mr. Zhang's room. Mr. Zhang was also learning, and he was learning even more diligently. He always wanted to get a scholarly rank so that his family could become more powerful. Jiang Wang Clan put a bowl of white fungus soup on the desk. After Mr. Zhang finished writing a few words, she said, "Husband, it's good to drink now. I heard that the 2 exams here are better. When we reach the capital, we need to have a reputation. Husband, why don't you take some time to write something and let people spread it?" "Yes, we do need to have a reputation. But knowledge is more important. There's no hurry to spread it. Just give it to Xiao Bao. His business specializes in this kind of thing." Sigh. "We have to rely on Madam to manage everything in and out of the house, and we even have to let a child help us." Mr. Zhang was now used to his son's ability. Other things aside, at least the food at home was much better. He didn't dare to eat white fungus and lotus seed soup. Lotus seeds can be bought, but where can one find white fungus? There are many good things in his son's special cold storage. If he wants to eat beef, he can take it out and eat it. In comparison, it seems that, as the head of the family, he was the most incompetent. He was gratified but also sad. He could only wait to get a scholarly rank. Then, the family would be better. The most important thing was that he could show his face in front of the people who looked down on him. Hearing her husband sigh, Jiang Wang Clan smiled and said, "Husband, you don't need to think about this. Those people who are always controlling this and that, aren't they just small businessmen? My husband is very capable. No one in this area can compare to my husband. Even the scholars in the capital can't compare to my husband in my opinion. We can't make it this year. Next year we will take the exam. If we can't make it, we will take the exam the year after. If we can't make it, we will take the exam the year after. Then, we will be able to go back. Let's not talk about this anymore. Husband, you should drink the soup quickly. When you are tired after reading the book, there is still warm wine over there. I will drink with you. Oh, there are also fresh cucumbers. Depending on when they are planted, they can be eaten until next year. When the land is ripe for planting cucumbers, I will make a plate of dried shredded tofu for you." Jiang Wang Clan comforted her husband. Seeing that her husband was much better than before, she turned around and prepared to go out to make some side dishes to go with the wine. "Chow, Just as Jiang Wang Clan walked to the door, Mr. Zhang suddenly called out. When his wife turned around, he said, "Sorry, I will definitely pass the exam next year." Jiang Wang Clan smiled and didn't say anything. She opened the door and left quietly. Early the next morning, the businessmen from between the clouds and the water restaurant came to Zhongjia Zhuangzi. Steward Zhang was preparing to receive them according to yesterday's agreement when he was suddenly called over by Zhang Xiaobao. "Little Gongzi, what orders do you have?" Steward Zhang didn't know what the little Gongzi wanted to do at this time. "Nothing big. When you go and talk to them later, the price must be set at 75 copper coins per caddy. It can't be less, not the 60 copper coins we talked about yesterday. Wait for them to agree or when they are about to leave. Then you can tell them that it can be cheaper, but it can't be bought with money." After discussing with Wang Wan yesterday, Zhang Xiaobao felt that it was too late to call Steward Zhang. He could only wait until the next day. Steward Zhang had a puzzled expression. "Little Gongzi, you don't want money? Then what do you want?" "I want shops in the capital and in Chong'an. It doesn't need to be too big. I want all of them. When the time comes, we can use the shops to calculate the price. We can give them a lower price. That's it. Thank you, Steward Zhang." After saying this, Zhang Xiaobao followed Wang Wan out of the door. He called 2 people to accompany him up the mountain. He could see how things were going over there. It was also a good opportunity to train. Steward Zhang's doubts didn't lessen at all. He didn't understand what the little Gongzi wanted to do. Who would take care of the shops in the capital? Could it be that he wanted to make more money? Then he didn't have to go to the capital. With a belly full of confusion,
Steward Zhang invited the businessmen to between the clouds and the water again to discuss. In the future, they would try to prevent others from entering the main house's courtyard.
Xiao Bao, why don't you think that Han Guy hasn't made his move yet?
I don't think he's the kind of person who can endure. Wang Wan held a small stick in her hand and was beating the withered yellow grass at the side. She suddenly remembered that there was someone else's Zhuangzi next to her.
She smiled and asked Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao laughed as well. I'm guessing he's been assigned to do something else by Imperial Nephew.
For example, the idea we gave Imperial Nephew. We're all neighbors, so how could we not ask him?
I wonder how tired he'll be. Then he should thank us for giving him a chance to train and get close to Imperial Nephew.
Wang Wan said sarcastically.
Chapter 189.
While Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan enjoyed climbing the mountain, housekeeper Zhang was engaged in intense negotiations with the merchants. On the second floor of Aqua Cloud Tavern, in a room furthest from the outside, a dozen or so people sat around a round table. The food and wine on the table were mostly untouched. Steward Zhang first proposed a toast to everyone, then pointed at the scenery outside and said, "Everyone, you are all rich people.
Zhongjia Zhuangzi can't compare to you. Please forgive us for not treating you well.
Steward Zhang, you are too polite. If other people from Zhuangzi said this to us, we would believe them.
But Zhang family and Wang family are from Zhuangzi."
Why did Steward Zhang come alone this time? Did the Wang family not care about this? The boss surnamed Lu asked with a smile at this time, and for a moment, he received a sound of agreement. Steward Zhang was not surprised at all. The young master had already told him about this situation yesterday. He immediately said, "The master of Wang Zhuang handed this matter to the Zhang family. In order to prevent others from deliberately coming to sow discord between the two families, the Wang family did not send anyone."
"Oh, I didn't say everyone.
It was all because of that me guy." When the businessmen heard this, they didn't show anything on their faces, but they felt a little uncomfortable. They did plan to deliberately give more money to one family and less money to the other. Not to mention two Zhuangzi, even brothers would fight over this. They didn't expect that the other party had already prepared for this. Of course, we all believe in Steward Zhang.
Sigh. Speaking of that me guy, we all hate him.
A good business was ruined by him. Otherwise, we would have bought the seeds back. I wonder how much Steward Zhang knows about the wharf at the little Luoshui River. It's a good place for us to transport food. Boss Wang hurriedly tried to smooth things over. At the same time, he also looked at the scenery outside the window. This building had a somewhat circular structure, and the middle was empty. There were more places where one could see the scenery outside. Because it had not rained for the past few days, there was only some mud in the hole that was dug to store water. However, he still praised, "Between the clouds and the water is really good.
Looking from here, the sky is high and the clouds are light.
After a heavy rain, there will be water."
Yesterday, the rain at Little Luoshui was not light. That is the Zhuangzi area of the Gu family, right?
Brother Wang is right. It's the Gu family's Zhuangzi. I heard that the Gu family's Zhuangzi rice seedlings were damaged by the wind last year, and they were bought from Zhongjia Zhuangzi. No wonder some of the fields have higher yields, while others have lower yields. The high yields don't seem to be much different from Zhongjia Zhuangzi. Boss Jean also spoke. He even stood up and walked to the window to look in that direction. The rice there was almost finished harvesting. The two of them said a few words in succession.
They thought that it would tire Steward Zhang out.
However, Steward Zhang did not seem to be in a hurry at all. He first said to Boss Wang, "Boss Wang, if you want to find a boat, you should look for young Master Song over there. This matter is not under my responsibility as a butler."
"Why? Isn't that Zhongjia Zhuangzi's place? Or is there another butler in the Zhang family's main house?" What is wrong with the Zhang family?
Why did they give the position of a butler to an outsider? Boss Wang asked deliberately. "Haha, Boss Wang, the dock at Little Luo Shui is indeed not Zhongjia Zhuangzi's. The Zhong family and the Wang family are both dutiful farmers. How can they do that kind of business? The seeds we are talking about this time are also related to farming. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come. As for the arrangement of the main house, it is naturally up to the master to decide. My family has been the butler of the main house of the Zhong family for several generations, so we are already familiar with it. Housekeeper Zhang also dealt with this matter without revealing the slightest bit of information, which made Boss Wang feel very depressed. Next to him, another boss immediately brought up what Boss Jean had just said. Steward Zhang, I wonder if what Boss Jean said was true? I heard that Between the Clouds and the Water is also funded by the 3 Zhuangzi families. Why don't we discuss this matter with the Gu family as well? It is indeed funded by the 3 families. Since you have taken a fancy to the Gu family's crops, why don't I go back and wait? You can talk to the Gu family's Zhuangzi people first. The crops in the fields are really good. I feel that there are more than Zhuangzi's Zhong family and Wang families. I congratulate you for finding a good seller. If you don't buy enough, you can continue to look for me. Because the rice in this field has been planted for a long time, it has taken up space. Therefore, the price may be slightly higher next time. When the Gu family comes, I am afraid that it will be difficult to talk to them because of me. Everyone, eat slowly. Let's settle the bill with the restaurant. Steward Zhang didn't buy this at all. Of course, he knew that the Gu family's Zhuangzi seedlings were not good, but they were definitely not as good as his own. Little young master helped to get the seedlings, so there was nothing else on the ground. It wasn't that easy to learn the little young master's methods. As he spoke, he had already stood up, smiled at the owners, and was about to leave. The merchants were anxious and exchanged glances. Immediately, the people sitting at the door stood up and stopped Steward Zhang with a smile. Steward Zhang, you can't leave like this. Just now, we looked carefully. Compared to Zhong family's and Wang family's rice, the Gu family's rice is still a little worse. We can't keep them as seeds. Steward Zhang, is this dish on the table a new one? I haven't seen it anywhere else. What do you think? This person didn't let Steward Zhang leave no matter what. He pushed Steward Zhang back to his previous seat. His eyes swept across the table and found that there was a dish that he had eaten at the first restaurant in Linshui. He pretended not to know and changed the topic. The people sitting at the table were all smart people. They all began to praise the dish and didn't dare to play tricks like before. The other party didn't care at all. If you threatened him, he would raise the price. Just now, he said that it was going to rain and the rice would be finished. In the end, the other party said that they had occupied the table. Oh, maybe it's the first time you've eaten it. This is actually the ordinary braised tofu. It's just that some chili sauce is sent from other places. The taste is different. It's not that spicy. Try it. Steward Zhang changed his posture and started to talk about the dish. Anyway, everyone knew what was going on. They hadn't eaten it before? Who didn't try the new dish from Little Luo Shui? Good. It's delicious. Remember to come here a few more times in the future. This braised tofu is made from soybeans. I wonder if the Zhong family has a place to grow soybeans? The output is not small, right? Do you have seeds? After eating a piece of braised tofu, Lu Dongjia started to ask about the seeds. Steward Zhang pushed the plate of braised tofu in front of Lu Dongjia. If it's delicious, eat more. If you eat more, get someone to make more. The soybeans are good, but we didn't plant them. I didn't think that we would need more next year. Next year, Zhongjia Zhuangzi will definitely plant some. Oh, that's a pity. We can only buy some rice seeds. I wonder how much the Zhong family and Wang family are paying for one caddy. Don't tell me it's like what young Master Song said, 150 copper coins for one caddy? That's because the Mi family is making it expensive. It has nothing to do with us. Lu Dongjia started to talk from the side and brought the topic back to the seeds. Of course it's not that expensive. But recently, we bought a lot of high-priced grains from other places. There are also many grain stores that don't have any grains to buy. From this, we can see that this year's output is low. The grain stores will pay more.
My output is high.
If you buy it back and plant it, you will naturally be able to sell it for more money. You are all grain stores. Don't tell me that you have a lot of grain. When I bought it, I asked your stores and they didn't have any. They said that the capital is also short of grain. Then I'll lower the price by 20 copper coins, 130 copper coins per caddy. Don't worry, the Zhang family and Wang family's Zhuangzi seeds won't be as out of stock as your grain stores. Steward Zhang smiled as he looked at the faces of these masters and said meaningfully. Everyone's expression changed when they saw Wei Wei. They also smiled, but they were calculating the gains and losses in their hearts. 130 copper coins, compared to the 100 copper coins that they pawned, it was much more expensive. Just now, when he said that there was a shortage of grain, it had nothing to do with them. Since that was the case, of course there was a shortage of grain. The price of grain should increase, so how could the price of seeds not increase? Haha, Steward Zhang is right. A few days ago, we didn't have any grain. But last night, someone came to report that grain was coming in from outside. There's a lot of it, and the price is cheap. One of the owners laughed dryly and explained. Really? What a coincidence. Cheap? How much cheaper? Then the price of seeds should be lowered according to this. Don't you think so? When Steward Zhang heard this, he was stunned for a moment. He thought of the things that the little girl added. Really, it's such a coincidence. How much cheaper is it? When you bought the rice guy, it was 29 copper coins per bushel. Our grain is cheaper. It's only 9 copper coins per bushel.
No, it's 8 copper coins. It's not rice, it's wheat.
Rice is cheap too. 11 copper coins per bushel. Lu Dongjia opened his mouth again, deliberately lowering the price of his grain. What about Xiaomi? Is it the same for all of you?
Steward Zhang asked in disbelief.
Xiaomi is 6 copper coins per bushel. It's the same for all of us.
Isn't that right?
The price set by owner Lu was the price they charged. In the past, it might have been cheaper, but this year, there was a drought and a plague of locusts, so it was more expensive. If they really sold it, it would definitely be more expensive.
Everyone nodded at the same time.
Owner Jean asked, Steward Zhang, since you know the price, how much can the seeds be lowered? How much?
It must be lowered by a lot.
I see. Since you all have grain, then I'll buy some first.
I'll buy 10,000 dawn of the same thing.
If you take the water route, the transportation will naturally be paid by you.
It's the same for the seeds of Zhang family and Wang family.
We'll pay for the transportation. Waiter, go and find the guarantor of Jiahui, my master, and the master of the Wang family.
Just tell them that you bought grain at a cheap price.
Steward Zhang said happily, looking like he was happy to cooperate with him. The waiter turned around and ran away. It seemed that in just a breath, he disappeared. All the owners turned to look at the place where he disappeared, stunned.
Chapter 190. Xiaobao, come here and help me pack some things.
Wang Wan, who was on the mountain, seemed to have found something good. She called out to Zhang Xiaobao and waited for Zhang Xiaobao to come over to take a look. It turned out to be some Shanli Red, smaller than the Shanli Red, and also sour.
Come, put these in your pockets. I'll pick more.
There are so many of them that I'm drooling just looking at them. Wang Wan struggled to get a branch from the tree. She grabbed it with her hands and used her body weight to prevent the branch from bouncing back.
She pulled it down and stuffed it into Zhang Xiaobao's pocket.
The 2 bodyguards immediately came over to help. After a short while, Xiaobao's shirt and pants pockets were completely filled. The 2 bodyguards also used their clothes pockets to fill up some. Well, the harvest is good. When we get there, tell them to pick some and send them back home.
We'll give them something else.
Wang Wan clapped her hands and walked to the front.
Zhang Xiaobao looked at his bulging pockets and then looked at Wang Wan's empty pockets.
He quickly walked 2 steps and caught up with Wang Wan and said, Cuckoo, you like to eat this? Eat while we walk. Come, I'll give you some.
No, we'll eat together when we get back. I won't eat alone. Xiao Bao, don't pull me. You're a man, you have to do more. Wang Wan covered her pockets with her hands and didn't let Zhang Xiaobao pull them away. She broke free from Zhang Xiaobao's pull and ran to the front with a smile. You run, I'll eat by myself. I'm hungry for you. Zhang Xiaobao chased after her and said. He also threw a few Shanli red into his mouth. It was so sour that his face was almost wrinkled together. The bodyguards behind looked at each other. It seemed that it was the first time they saw the two little ancestors so happy. They also showed a happy expression and quickened their pace. After walking for 2 hours, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan finally arrived at the construction site. Hundreds of farmers were busy digging a big hole in the middle of the mountains that didn't belong to them. The dug soil was piled up between 2 mountains, preparing to make a dam. The people in charge of cooking for them were collecting firewood. From time to time, they would pick some edible wild fruits. They would either put them in their sleeves or put them in their mouths to take a bite. Yes, let's do it like that. When the time comes, although it's not our land in name, it's actually used by us. Put some fish, prawns, and crabs inside. There's no need to take care of them. When the time comes, we'll leave as much as we can. The production in the mountains is low, but the taste is good. Zhang Xiaobao used a slingshot to shoot 2 wild fruits and gave one to Wang Wan. Similarly, they didn't wash them. They just rubbed them and ate. The ripe parts were soft. When they bit, the juice inside flowed down the corners of their mouths. They talked about the situation here while eating. It's best if a few more people come to occupy the land. We'll clean up the things inside and then collect a toll from them. Wang Wan used her tongue to lick the corners of her mouth and happily agreed. Little young master, little miss, work here. Huida, why don't we go over there? There's a small pond formed by a spring there. It's better than here. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were looking over here, a person in charge of the inner courtyard came over and pointed at the mountain next to them. Really? That's great. Let's go, Xiaobao. Let's go over there and see if it's mineral water. It's best if it's warm. That way, we can come here to soak in it during winter. Wang Wan was interested when she heard this. She pulled Zhang Xiaobao and walked over there. Zhang Xiaobao looked over there. There wasn't the slightest sign of a hot spring. Stop dreaming. How could there be a hot spring? If there really was one, we would have discovered it last time. It might just be a spring that just came out. It's connected to an underground river. We still have to see. Hurry up. Wang Wan pulled Zhang Xiaobao and sped up. The 2 protectors behind them also trotted. There were mulberry trees in the forest. A trickling stream flowed. The sun shone through the leaves. The light grass was withered and yellow. The wild fruits were fragrant. The mountain was at the side and the water was at the center. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan stood on the mountain and felt the surrounding aura. Looking at the dreamy scenery in front of them, they took in a long breath and slowly exhaled. An indescribable carefree feeling lingered in their hearts. Wang Wan narrowed her eyes and looked at the pool of clear water surrounded by the mountains. She sniffed and asked, "It's too beautiful." Xiaobao, we didn't circle this place back then, right? Well, it seems like we didn't. We didn't find any water here back then. It's really spring water, but it's not warm. Zhang Xiaobao knew what Wang Wan was going to say. He also felt a little regretful. What about that? This place can't be given to others. I want it. I'll come here to play in the future. Hurry up and think of a way. Spring water. Wang Wan was anxious. She also wanted to have such a beautiful thing. Then think of a way. We'll wait for someone else to get this place, then we'll buy it from them. It seems like we can't get this land from the government. Look at the mulberry trees around. They're productive. Zhang Xiaobao originally planned to buy this place, but found that the surrounding trees were mulberry trees. He understood now. The land here couldn't be bought casually.
It was a crop forest. They could just give it to others. It wasn't like the land on the wasteland that could be bought. Can we really buy it? Don't you have a way to kill the trees? Kill them from the roots up. If the trees die, we can buy it here, Wang Wan suggested. I'm not stupid. These trees belong to our family. We'll use them when we're breeding silkworms. Let someone else make a reward. When the time comes, we'll secretly trade with them. We're already taking advantage of them. We can't be too greedy. Who can make the reward? I know someone who's the most suitable. Zhang Xiaobao rejected Wang Wan's suggestion without thinking. He could only think of other people. Who? Is it Li Sun, that brat? If he has it, how can he trade with us? He's been thinking of annexing us. The first person that Wang Wan thought of was Li Sun. After all, he was the emperor's nephew. If he wanted some land, as long as it wasn't too big, there wouldn't be a problem. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head and said, "It's not him. I can't guard against him. How can I give him a chance? It's the county magistrate. County Magistrate Cheng is dying. He's leaving. We won't give him a reward. As long as the new county magistrate can get some political achievements for him, we'll be on good terms with him. He may get a reward. We'll let him ask for a piece of land here and then trade with him. A newly appointed county magistrate can't leave after a few days. He has to stay for at least a year. It's necessary to have a good relationship with him. It's best to promote one from the local area. The possibility isn't high. Then what if the county magistrate doesn't listen to us? Many people are like this. They come from the top and want to make money. Are you going to help him corrupt to the end? Wang Wan was a little worried about the next county magistrate. She had seen a lot of movies, and it was all like this. Especially in Hangzhou, Zhejiang. Almost every dynasty there was the richest. The officials there were all very rich. Not to mention the movies, the place where she and Zhang Xiaobao came from was also like this. Otherwise, how could she be betrayed? Zhang Xiaobao also knew that it would be difficult to deal with a corrupt official. He sighed, "Let's talk about it later. I don't know how the negotiations with Steward Zhang are going. I hope it can be done well." "Well, there shouldn't be any problem. Let's go down. I want to see if the water is cold or warm." Wang Wan wasn't worried about Steward Zhang. She pulled Zhang Xiaobao and walked down. 90 copper coins per kilogram of seeds. What do you think? It dropped by 40 copper coins all of a sudden. It's almost half of the original price. The price of your grains didn't drop so much, did it? Steward Zhang was still talking to a group of businessmen. Just now, the heads of the Zhang family and the Wang family all came, and the people of Jiahuai also came here. Originally, there were no people of Jiahuai here. Between the clouds and the water came out, and there were many vehicles from Little Luoshui bringing all kinds of people here. Jiahuai had to make a place nearby to settle people down, in case there was a situation. Of course, these owners couldn't sell all the grains to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Huai for 10,000 don of grain. That would be a loss for them. Even if these people were responsible for 10,000 don of grain, each family would have to take out nearly 1,000 don of grain. After some discussion, these owners finally sold the three main grains to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Huai for 5,000 don of grain each, which was the very low price. In addition to this, they also bought two less important grains, which were also based on the cost. One was soybeans, which was sold for 2,000 don of grain, and the other was sorghum, which was sold for 1,500 don of grain, which made these owners feel very distressed. After signing the documents and leaving, they began to talk about the seeds. Hearing Steward Zhang's price, the businessmen all shook their heads. "Steward Zhang, this price is still a bit too high. To be honest, what we sell to you is the capital, and we still have to pay half of the shipping cost. This is not good. You can't expect us to lose money, right? We still have to meet often in the future. Only when we have time will we take the opportunity to check out the shops everywhere to have a look here." Boss Jean said to Steward Zhang with a sad face. He really couldn't give up such good seeds. The main thing was that he planned to buy them once and pay a higher price. In the future, he wouldn't need to buy them again and would just keep them. When Steward Zhang heard this, he was a bit hesitant. He wanted to continue to squeeze more. He was really worried that when the time came, they would join hands to raise the price of the grains here. He also knew that the young master's plan was to support the new county magistrate. Whether the people could eat or not naturally had to be considered. After thinking for a while, Steward Zhang felt that he should be more lenient. He said, "Then how about 80 dawn of grain, what do you think?" "Well, 80 dawn of grain." "Steward Zhang, we want to buy more. At least we have to buy more than half of the grains here. Do you think you can lower the price?" Another boss still felt that it was too expensive. Zhongjia Zhuangzi planted a lot of rice. If they wanted to buy more, it would be difficult to raise so much money in such a short time. Actually, there is another way that can be cheaper. 70 dawn of grain will do. But you can't exchange it for money. If you want to change shops, you can buy all the small shops in the capital. As long as you take out your shops, you can even make a little profit from it. Steward Zhang saw that it was about time and finally said this matter. Chapter 191. 5 days later, a lot of people came to Zhuangzi from the Zhang family and the Wang family. They wore hemp clothes and held sickles in their hands as they went into the paddy fields to harvest. The harvested paddy fields were immediately threshed. A few people from the Zhang family and the Wang family came out of Zhuangzi to help weigh the paddy fields. Elsewhere, the busy farming season was almost over. Only some winter wheat needed to be planted in the soil. The market was once again bustling with people. What was different from usual was that at this time, the stalls selling tea and snacks in the market were charging several times more than usual. The people who came to work had already agreed that all the water and food would be taken care of by the people who hire them, the owners of the grain stores. This time, the people who did business in the market were going to make a fortune. They did it on purpose. They must have done it on purpose. The shop owner sent the news back at noon today. They paid the money and started to raise the prices of things in the market. Zhuangzi is so big, but they even want to calculate such a small amount of money. I really don't understand. In the restaurant between the clouds and the water, in a private room where one could see the paddy fields through the window, one of the owners was drinking tea and looking around while complaining. This is not a small amount of money. A bowl of tea usually costs 1 copper coin and a few snacks. Now, without snacks, it costs 3 copper coins. We hired 200 people, and they drink the tea like cows. Including the 3 meals in the morning, afternoon, and evening, they will earn more than 10 taels of silver a day. According to this situation, they will earn at least 50 taels of silver in 3 days. The other owner was very clear. Just this amount of money was enough to buy several ships to transport grain back and forth. Zhongjia Zhuangzi was not willing to suffer a loss at all. They calculated everywhere and bought more than half of the seeds in the fields. They bought 24 shops in the capital, and even a 2-story restaurant. You too, don't talk about it. We got a lot of money. A caddy of seeds cost 65 copper coins in the end. When we bought the shop, we deliberately increased the price by 10%. The seeds are not even worth 60 copper coins per caddy. Planting seeds is more profitable than planting grain. It is more than 100 times the price. Lu Dongjia estimated that the seeds they bought this time were actually worth more than 14,000 taels of silver. As for the rest of the seeds, if they were to find someone else to buy them, they would still not be able to sell for more than 3,000 or 4,000 taels of silver. If they were to exchange them for ordinary grains, they would only be able to sell for about 300 taels of silver. Jin Dongjia, who was also waiting for his subordinates to work faster, agreed. Brother Lu is right. Of the 24 shops, only the 2-story restaurant is a little more expensive, 4,000 taels of silver. The other shops only cost about 9,000 taels of silver. We paid more than 1,000 taels of silver. How much can we hire people to eat? We can't let them bring their own dry food and drink the water from the river. Brother Jean, You are wrong. Steward Zhang personally said a few days ago that we should make a profit by selling them food. They will pay for half of the transportation. But they are stingy everywhere. They have to specify the ships. I have already asked people to find out, and they are half of the price. The carriages and horses to be shipped to Zhuangzi are also fixed, and they asked for half more. We have to stay here and watch. The wine they give is not sold at between the clouds and the water. The dishes they cook are also the same. Don't they need to spend money? Plus, they don't need to harvest, which saves some manpower. I heard that they went to the mountains to build other places. The boss who spoke first felt uncomfortable as he recounted the events one by one. Jin Dongjia shook his head. We also eat normally. When did we not choose the best food? This table only costs about 30 to 50 taels of silver. Counting everything, it is only a few hundred taels of silver. We still made a profit. Jin Dongjia also felt uncomfortable. They did not have a lot of money. If they divided it among a dozen people, they could get some. The main reason was that they were constantly being schemed against. People who did business always wanted to scheme against others. Look, the people from the Zhang family and Wang family in Zhuangzi have all returned? Why are there so many people? There are about 300 people. They are all holding sickles. What are they doing? Could it be that they want to help us harvest? Just as everyone was eating snacks and tea, a person standing next to the window pointed down and asked curiously. Everyone stood up and looked down. Wasn't that right? There were quite a few people there, and judging from their similar clothes, they were undoubtedly the Zhang and Wang families' villagers. Only they would be so generous as to specially make the same clothes for the villagers. Those people rushed to the fields with sickles and started harvesting. After watching for a while, everyone was relieved. They were not harvesting the high-quality crops they had drawn, but their own. Fast, it's really too fast. Look at their farmers. One of them is comparable to the two we found. Wang Dongjia said enviously when he saw the speed of the people on both sides. We can't compare. If the farmers are willing, they can eat meat every 2 or 3 days. We found people from other places. Where did they get so much money? They didn't harvest earlier or later. Why did they also harvest the people we found here? Lu Dongjia's eyes were a little far-sighted. He could see the difference between the two people's bodies. The Zhang family and Wang family were also shirtless. Their bodies were full of meat. Looking at the people they found, they were only a little stronger than skin and bones. Everyone was puzzled. They could only sit back and drink tea again. They talked about some business matters. In a flash, the sun was in the middle of the sky. Time to eat, time to eat. The owners had just found a waiter to order the food and wine when they heard someone shouting loudly. The people near the window looked down and saw many people coming out of the market. Some were pushing carts, some were carrying poles. They shouted and waved to the people hired by Tanaka and the others. It's time to eat. The people in the market are not bad. They sent the food here. The owner turned around and explained to the others who looked over. Oh, that can save us a few steps. Several owners said at the same time. Let me see. Lu Dongjia saw that there were only a few cold plates on the table. He didn't plan to eat immediately. He also came over to take a look. After looking for a while, he said, There's a lot of food. Look at those carts. It's enough to feed 500 or 600 people. Oh, I understand. The farmers of the Zhang family and Wang family are also eating together. As soon as he finished speaking, the people who gathered to eat suddenly became chaotic. Some of the people hired by them quarreled with the people who delivered the food. They were far away, so the voices were mixed. It was impossible to tell what they were arguing about. They could vaguely hear voices like why, do the same job, and quit. What's going on? Didn't they deliver the food? Waiter, go and ask. Lu Dongjia didn't understand. He shouted at the waiter who was waiting at the door to serve at any time. The waiter responded, turned around, and ran. After a while, the
the people of the Zhang family and Wang family were eating. When the people hired by them were still quarreling, the waiter ran back. "Sir, they quarreled because of the difference in the food. The people hired by you feel that the food is not as good as the food of the Zhang family and Wang family." The waiter panted and said, Did the food that the market made for our people go bad?" One of the owners asked. "No, there's rice, steamed buns with sorghum noodles, egg drop soup, and fried chives with eggs. These are all well made." The waiter counted the food and said, "They still think it's not good? Is it not as good as what they usually eat? I think they don't want to ask for their wages." The owner who asked the question was so angry that he slammed the table. "Don't worry, waiter. Let me ask you, what do the Zhuangzi and Zhang family eat?" Boss Jean waved his hand at that person and asked the waiter again. The waiter also counted thin pancakes, shredded pork with scallions, sliced chicken, blanched bamboo shoots, minced pork with eggplant, and a bowl of soup made with dried shredded tofu and pork. The soup is served with chopped wood ears and spicy sauce. There are 2 dishes that can be eaten with spicy sauce in the pancakes. The other 2 dishes can be cooked however you like. When the waiter's voice fell, the other owners didn't know what to say. No wonder the people they found were unwilling. When they were working together and waiting to eat, they only had 1 dish and 1 soup. The staple food was also worthless, while the waiter had the staple food of fine flour pancakes and 4 dishes and a soup that were several times better. When the 2 sides were compared, the difference was obvious. Of course, the people who worked were not willing. Why should they be treated differently just because they were all sent from the market? "Waiter, is the food that the Zhang family and Wang family eat also prepared by the market?" Boss Jean thought for a while and asked. "In reply to your question, no, it's just a stove over there. They are all harvesting rice and making a fire at the side. They are afraid that it will catch fire. When it was done, it was just in time for the market. The food was also ready, so it was sent over together." The waiter answered respectfully. "Just in time? Okay, then let me ask you, do you know how much those 4 dishes and 1 soup cost?" "I really don't know. It's estimated that it would cost 2 taels of silver per person. After all, the soup has wood ears and they eat a lot. The spicy sauce is also not cheap. There's also the meat and so on." The waiter shook his head awkwardly. After thinking for a while, he gave a price that he thought about. The owners looked at each other and sighed at the same time. The one who spoke first in the morning said, "I'm right? They don't intend to let us transport the seeds back properly. 2 taels of silver per person. 200 people, 400 taels of silver. Can we afford it? 2 days is 800 taels of silver." This time, everyone nodded in agreement. If they really forced the people below to eat the food prepared by the market, they would also eat it. However, it was hard to say how much effort they put into the work. If they also ordered the same food and sent it over, wouldn't they lose money? "Big Brother Jean, what should we do?" one of the owners asked. "Waiter, you go down and ask the market to add a meat dish. Add 10 taels of silver per person and some rice. Add 3 taels of silver per person." Boss Jean didn't have a good idea and could only do this. However, the waiter said, "Boss Jean, how much to add depends on the number of plates. It's based on the portion. What if they eat a lot? Don't tell me they can't eat any more? Also, the original food that was already prepared can't be returned, right?" Chapter 192. The afternoon sun was no longer as scorching as it was at noon. Occasionally, a breeze would blow, making people feel cool. The owners of the grain store added more food, and the hired people also found out that those people were the farmers of the Zhang family and Wang family. All the food was taken care of by the owners, so they happily ate until they were full and no longer made any noise. But when they started to work in the fields, they found that when they bent down, the food in their stomachs would rush up. They had no choice but to endure the discomfort while sighing that they were able to eat.
The farmers of the Zhang family and Wang family naturally wouldn't eat until they were full like those who hadn't eaten for 8 lifetimes. They only ate until they were 70% full, and the rest of the food could be eaten after they finished their work. 4 hours later, the farmers of the Zhang family and Wang family finished harvesting the remaining rice. They removed the kernels and drank some water. After resting for a while, they rushed to send the rice to the storeroom. Only then did they come back to heat up the rest of the food and prepare to eat. Everyone, listen up. Don't eat any more. Hurry up and bring it home for your family to eat. In a while, someone will treat us to food. There's no more fungus soup, but there will be no less. There will be wages. Without waiting for the farmers to heat up the food, Steward Zhang trotted over and shouted to everyone. The farmers didn't even ask anything. They divided the food and brought more food to those who had more people. They turned around and ran back home. They had absolute trust in their masters and would do whatever they were told to do. Steward Zhang looked at the scattered people and smiled. He ordered the people following him, "Bring the prepared food over." After that, he walked towards the place between the clouds and the water. The owners of Between the Clouds and the Water were more and more dissatisfied with the helpers they found. They did a good job in the morning, but at noon, they spent a lot more money. When it was distributed to each person, it was 120 copper coins. There was no other way. The price of the food was 3 times more expensive than usual. Including the water, the total cost was 130 copper coins. Just one meal cost 26 taels of silver. At the beginning, it was more than 10 taels of silver a day. The most infuriating thing was that these people were not as nimble as they were in the morning after eating and drinking. They would stand up and rub their stomachs after a few cuts. At this rate, they would not be able to finish their work in 3 days. "Big Brother Jean, we can't go on like this. It's not like we have nowhere to spend our money. Look at what they are doing. The farmers in Zhuangzi are working much faster than them. Their food is not bad either. How are they looking for helpers? They are clearly raising their ancestors." Lu Dongjia looked over from the window and shook his head helplessly. It's not easy for a poor family to have something delicious to eat. They're already full, so naturally, they don't have the energy to work. Let's talk to them when we're done with work tonight. If they really fall out with us, where are we going to find people? Don't tell me we're going to cut it ourselves? Jin Dongjia could think of the reason, but at the same time, he did not have a good solution. He bitterly said, "If you want to blame those helpers, why don't you complain about the people in Zhangjia Zhuangzi? They are so bad. They deliberately came to eat with us, and they eat so well. I don't believe that they eat like this every day." "Boss Jin, you are really wrong. A few days ago, when we were harvesting, we didn't have these talents, but we ate whole mutton soup, which was no less than this flour. We didn't send people to harvest the rice on purpose to harm you. It's really going to rain today. If you don't believe me, you can go and ask the local elders. They are most familiar with the weather here." Just as Jin Dongjia finished speaking, Steward Zhang came in from the door. Although he was explaining, his eyes were telling them that they were measuring the heart of a gentleman with their own mean measure. "Rain. Steward Zhang, you're not joking?" After Jin Dongjia heard this, he trembled. What he was afraid of was happening. He stared at Steward Zhang, wanting to know if he was lying or not. Housekeeper Zhang smiled and sighed. "Boss Jin, do you think I have nothing better to do? That's why I'm here to tell you guys some lies? Don't you feel that it's cool and stuffy in the afternoon? The wind is blowing. Look at the sky, it's going to be night soon." As Steward Zhang spoke, he walked to the window and opened the other 2 closed windows. Sure enough, a gust of wind swept in, swirled around the house, and blew out from the other window. "How is it? Do you feel much better?" Sigh. "We were really afraid that when the rain fell, the things in the fields would be finished. Otherwise, why would we call people back? The place on the mountain is not fixed yet." Steward Zhang opened his arms and stood in front of the window, feeling the coolness of the wind, and said faintly. What the owners felt was not the coolness, but the coldness. Not only were they afraid that their seeds would be finished after the rain, but they were more afraid that the Zhang family and Wang family would be Zhuangzi. Just as Steward Zhang had said, only the old people in this place knew how the local climate changed. Steward Zhang had deliberately delayed for a few days so that they could settle the matters of the shop before harvesting. It turned out that it was all in preparation for this rain. What should we do? What should we do? It seemed that the rain was going to fall soon. No matter what, it would not last until tomorrow morning. There was no need to plant the seeds in the fields anymore. When the time came, the seeds that were not moldy could be planted directly. But could they be planted in this season? Steward Zhang, you can't cheat us like this. If we throw the money into the fields, we will lose a lot of money. The shops in Beijing were bought according to your requirements. Now that we gave you the seeds, you gave us this kind of thing? Wang Dongjia stood up and walked in front of Steward Zhang. He grabbed his arm and said with a sad face, Wang Dongjia, let's talk nicely. What we gave you is not wrong. We put it in the fields and waited for you to cut it. The reason why we did not cut it was because we were afraid that you would suspect that we changed the seeds. You have to understand our painstaking efforts. Steward Zhang dodged to the side, but he still could not get rid of Wang Dongjia's hand. He could only persuade him. No, it's not like that. Steward Zhang, you clearly knew that it was going to rain. Why didn't you tell us a few days earlier? Wang Dongjia's hand was blue and blue. It could be seen that he used a lot of strength. Hearing this, Steward Zhang's face sank. He stared at Wang Dongjia and said, Wang Dongjia, what are you talking about? How could there be a matter of a few days earlier? If we knew a few days earlier, we would have taken it a few days earlier. Look at how tired our farmers are. Compared to the work speed of the workers you found, do you not know how much effort the farmers put in? Earlier, Jin Dongjia complained that Zhuangzi gave the farmers good food to eat. People's hearts are made of flesh. The farmers worked hard, so how could they not be given a meal? Our Zhang family and Wang family would not do such a thing. Even so, the farmers need to rest for a few days before they can recover. Master said that in a bit, we will give the farmers better things. We will buy a few sheep and kill them for them to eat. Where can we find such good farmers? Look at your people, the better they eat, the worse they do. Steward Zhang, don't be angry, let's talk things over. When we bought those shops, we made a bit more money, about 1,800 taels of silver. We don't want that money. We will buy a few more shops for you. Please help us. Is there a way to reduce our losses? Lu Dongjia was afraid that Steward Zhang would leave in anger at this time, so he came over and pulled Wang Dongjia away. He whispered to him, This method is not easy to think of. Everyone, don't worry, Zhuangzi will not ignore this. Come, sit down and talk. We will take our time to discuss this. Steward Zhang helped Lu Dongjia sit down and began to think with a frown. Xiaobao, it seems that what the people say is right. Having an old person in the family is like having a treasure. We have so many treasures here. Look, the timing is so accurate. When they say it will rain today, it will rain today. When they say it will rain in the middle of the night, it will definitely rain in the middle of the night. At Zhangjia Zhuangzi's side, Wang Wan was adding vegetables to the thin pancakes. When she saw that the sky outside was overcast, she happily said to Zhang Xiaobao, Yes, let them give a false price and not pay the shipping fee. Do they really think that we are easy to fool? If we don't get 1,800 taels of silver this time, I, Zhang Xiaobao, will write my name backwards. A sinister smile appeared on Zhang Xiaobao's childish face as he agreed. He did not like to eat the rolled pancakes. He grabbed the pancakes with one hand and picked up the vegetables with the other. He just ate it like this. Spring pancakes were usually made at the beginning of spring. At this time, he took them out and gave them to the villagers. Oh, people called this spring pancake. At first, Wang Wan did not understand why Zhang Xiaobao did not like to eat the rolled pancakes. After she finished rolling the pancakes, she saw Zhang Xiaobao eat more than half of the 2-inch pancake and eat a few mouthfuls of vegetables. Only then did she understand that rolling pancakes was a waste of time. Even when eating the shredded pork in Beijing sauce with a little soup, Zhang Xiaobao did not roll the pancake. He just held the pancake in his hand and put it under the shredded pork and onions. After taking a bite of the pancake, Wang Wan picked up a mouthful of vegetables and put it into her mouth. She chewed twice and said, "Other than the taste of the chili sauce, everything else is about the same." "Those things are about the same." Zhang Xiaobao picked up the second pancake. "Xiaobao, even if our people help them harvest, they might not be able to finish it in the middle of the night, right? They will still lose some." Wang Wan asked doubtfully. Zhang Xiaobao was eating the most. He nodded and waited for the food to be swallowed before he said, "Of course, don't say that it's too late. If it's really not enough, I have to ask them to buy some time. I have already found the reason. It's too tiring to work during the day. I'm risking my life to help them." As he spoke, Zhang Xiaobao used his chopsticks to pick up a bit of fermented bean curd. He took a sip and smacked his lips twice before continuing, "I want them to lose a portion of the rice. The ones they bought were calculated. One was to be sold to the person they contacted, and the other was to be sold to their own family. If they lose a portion of the rice, we don't have to find buyers elsewhere. We will kindly sell the rest to them." "Xiaobao, you're still as bad as ever." "I know, the amount of rice you're going to make us lose is exactly the amount of rice we have left after we've planted the seeds. Come, Xiaobao, this piece of stinky tofu is your reward." Chapter 193. The dishes on the table were cold, and the wine was not as warm. No one around the table paid any attention to this. They all looked at Steward Zhang, waiting for him to come up with a good idea. "How about this, if you ask me?" Steward Zhang paused, picked up a piece of deer tendon with his chopsticks, threw it into his mouth, chewed, and nodded. "If you ask me, buddy, warm up the wine. Can't you see it's cold? Can you afford to compensate the owners if they don't eat well?" Steward Zhang reached out and poured himself a cup. While he was talking, he found the wine was not warm anymore, so he shouted to the waiter at the door. "Listen to Steward Zhang, buddy. Here, this string of money is yours. Go and wait. Steward Zhang likes to eat deer tendon. Bring another plate." "Steward Zhang, what good idea do you have?" Boss Wang was one of the more impulsive ones among these people. He urged the waiter to push the plate of deer tendon in front of Steward Zhang. Steward Zhang finished the cold wine, picked up a piece of roasted lamb chop, chewed, and said in a muffled voice, "I'm thinking that the people you find are too slow. Why don't you go to Gu Family's Zhuangzi and hire some more? They're all free, so they can come and help. More people, faster work. What do you think?" Hearing this, everyone suddenly realized that they had been thinking about how to stop the rain and forgot to hire more people. "Good idea. Thank you, Steward Zhang. Gu Family's Zhuangzi doesn't seem to have enough people, right? Steward Zhang, why don't you hire the farmers of Zhang family and Wang family? They can work faster." Boss Wang slapped his thigh and was happy, but he also felt that they were still short of people. "Yes, Steward Zhang, you have to help us at this time. We'll buy the shop for you later. Even if we have to spend some money, we can't let the seeds disappear." Another owner of the grain store sitting next to Steward Zhang added. "Sigh." Steward Zhang was put in a difficult position. He paused for a moment and said, "We agreed to let you earn the money. It's not easy for you to arrange for people to run around. Steward Zhang is a benevolent and righteous man. Don't worry, if you ever need our help in the future, we definitely won't hesitate." Lu Dongjia sighed. "Why don't you all go there and ask them? If we really let our farmers do it, they'll die of exhaustion. Although they're farmers, the main family has always treated them like family. The food is good, and they're paid well. I'm just worried that they won't be able to live a comfortable life. When I think about how they'll be tired again, I feel so sad." Steward Zhang couldn't go on. He sniffled and wiped his tears with his sleeve. He pouted and looked sad. These owners weren't fools. They knew who bought the Zhuangzi from the Li family. Who would dare to hire people there? Unless they were tired of living. When they saw Steward Zhang's expression, they were speechless. Jin Dongjia cursed in his heart. How can they die of exhaustion? It's just a little work. How can they die of exhaustion in a day? When they were harvesting a few days ago, did they have to rest for a few days? Look at how strong those farmers are. Who would believe that? They treat the farmers well and give them expensive food and pay them more. What kind of pay is that? What kind of farmers would pay Zhuangzi separately when they harvest the land? He wasn't the only one who thought this way. The others also had the same thought. They cursed in their hearts. They had to say something nice, but time waits for no one. Steward Zhang, it's true. We really can't find anyone. Tell them to work slower? Don't worry, we'll take care of their food. It won't be worse than what you give them. As for the wages, we'll give them 7 copper coins a day. How about we give them 10 copper coins a day? Lu Dongjia stared into Steward Zhang's eyes and asked. Steward Zhang had just finished wiping his tears. He blinked his eyes, picked up a fish head, and put it on his plate. He smacked it twice with his mouth and said to the crowd, "This fish is good. It's delicious. It's a pity that the farmers can't afford to eat it. Fish may not be valuable, but it depends on how it's cooked. A fish cooked by Shuiyun costs 2 taels of silver. Everyone, how about this? There are only 300 people in Zhuangzi who are strong. I'll give you 15 copper coins and let you hire people elsewhere. Let them go. Waiter, go to the shopkeeper and get 5 strings of money. I'll return it here when I get back." Steward Zhang ordered the waiter who had just delivered the hot water and deer tendons. The waiter nodded and turned to leave. But Jin Dongjia quickly stopped him. "Wait, where are we going to find people to work at this time? When they come, it will be raining. Steward Zhang, 100 copper coins for each of you. Just for one night. 150 copper coins. Not for one night. If the rain stops and you get sick, you'll have to pay for the medical expenses." Steward Zhang made a counteroffer. "Okay, 300 people. It's just a few stones of seeds." Jin Dongjia gritted his teeth and agreed. "It's not 300. There are about 800 people in Zhuangzi now. Even the children can help look after the pile." Steward Zhang didn't budge an inch. "All right, let's hurry up. 800 people it is. 100 taels of silver is better than losing these 10,000 taels of seeds." Jin Dongjia really didn't want to waste any more time. The more he spoke, the less he would cut. Moreover, it wasn't a matter of 10,000 taels of silver. Those who bought the seeds had already paid the deposit. If they bought the seeds back, they would make a lot of money. If they lost the seeds, they would have to pay more. There's no time to lose. Let's go now. How much do you want to pay in Zhuangzi? You can talk to them yourselves. Waiter, send that plate of deer tendons back to the main house. The young master and his wife love to eat them. Steward Zhang was delighted at this time. He took the lead and walked out. It seemed that he was more anxious than the others. The other owners didn't have time to think about how shameless Steward Zhang was. He just served a dish and he took it back. Were the people of Zhongjia Zhuangzi so poor? When they arrived outside, the sky was cloudy and it was already dusk. It was already dark. 2 of them went to the Gu family's manor to find someone to negotiate the price. The rest of them looked at housekeeper Zhang. "Oh, it's dark. What should we do? We need to light lanterns. Torches are prone to fire." Steward Zhang looked at the sky and said, "Then let's light lanterns." "Is it hard to buy lanterns?" Wang Dongjia asked anxiously. "Let's go to the grocery store. It's too urgent. I don't know if they have any." As Steward Zhang spoke, he strode towards the sundry goods store. The others followed closely behind him. When they arrived, Steward Zhang shouted to Ergo, who was walking back and forth in the market. "Ergo, do you have any lanterns? I need 400 lanterns. Everyone, take a look." Are those old people in Zhuangzi also using them? Yes, they are all using them. 150 coins per person. Use as much as you have. Ergo, right? Do you have so many lanterns? One of the owners said. He didn't have time to argue. He would do whatever Steward Zhang said. Even if he had a pig, as long as it knew how to hold a lantern and how to light it, it would still be worth 150 coins. Ah! Steward Zhang, you need so many lanterns? This? Don't talk about this and that. Tell me the truth. Do you have them or not? Steward Zhang impatiently interrupted Ergo and asked. Yes, there are exactly 450 lanterns. But they have been ordered by someone else. They have to be sent to you tomorrow morning. If they are given to you? Before Ergo could finish, Wang Dongjia stepped in front of Ergo and shouted, How much is it? We will pay for the loss. Hurry up and get the lanterns and candles. Okay, I'll get them now. 200 coins per lantern. Each lantern has 10 candles. Let me tell you the candles. I beg you, hurry up and get them. Wang Dongjia was almost crying. Ergo was sensible this time. In the blink of an eye, he ran to the grocery store. There seemed to be people waiting there. He went in and came out. The 450 lanterns were set up in less than a quarter of an hour. He put in the candles and lit them up. At this time, the young and old women of the manor also walked out and waited there. Their efficiency was so high that all the masters felt their hearts bleed. If they hadn't been prepared, how could they be so fast? But those people were empty-handed. Steward Zhang, they came empty-handed? One of the owners stared and asked. Oh, they are so troublesome. Who went to find them? Didn't we say to collect the land? Did we forget to tell them? Ergo, do you have scythes here? The kind that we specially made and are better than other scythes? We need 500 scythes. How much do you want? Ask these owners later. Steward Zhang was also annoyed. He shouted at Ergo. When he saw Ergo go in to get the scythes, he shouted at the owners. Everyone heard that. We asked you to help us harvest the rice. 150 coins per person. When you're done, remember to put the scythes in a place. This scythe. Steward Zhang, look, the scythes are here. Let's get to work first, okay? Jin Dongjia couldn't hold it in anymore. He felt more and more bored. Take the scythes and work. Children look after the piles. Old people and women hold the lanterns. Steward Zhang immediately shouted. Those people didn't slow down. They ran over to get the things they needed. When they started, Steward Zhang wiped the sweat off his face and said to the owners, Everyone, I'll ask people to prepare the food. We'll eat according to the lunch. There's one less fungus soup. I'll ask you to save some and change it to mutton. How about that? Okay, Steward Zhang will arrange it. That's Gu Zhuang's people, right? Hurry up, run a few steps. One of the owners didn't want to continue bargaining on other matters. He agreed and saw the flames appear over there. He waved his hand and shouted loudly. The Gu family didn't have many people in Zhuangzi. Only 100 came. As for how much they spent, Steward Zhang didn't care. This could be considered as helping them once and earning more money. Steward Zhang, I admit defeat this time. Don't worry, I won't have any ideas about Zhang family and Wang family's Zhuangzi anymore. The owner surnamed Lu watched those people harvest and said to Steward Zhang, who was standing next to him. Chapter 194. Just as Zhang Xiaobao had expected, when more than half of the hundreds of people had finished harvesting, the rain started to fall. The people who were working immediately left the fields and hid in the sheds that were specially set up for them, eating the food that was specially prepared for them. The masters of the Zhang family and Wang family in Zhuangzi even took out wine for their own farmers to drink. This was included in Zhuangzi's bill, so the masters did not have to pay for it. The children and the elderly were also given an extra portion of congee with preserved egg and lean meat, which was also paid for by Zhuangzi. Of course, this money had long been earned back from the triple price. However, the Gu family's farmers and hired people did not think so. The Gu family's farmers knew that they could not compete with the others, so they were already used to it. Fortunately, the food was not bad. There were actually 2 dishes and a soup. As for the other people who had 5 dishes, they pretended not to see it. The hired helpers also had 2 dishes and a soup. This time, no one made a fuss. They thought that it was the same as at noon. When they saw the wine, some people who liked to inquire asked. When they found out that the wine was really given by the masters, they were all envious and jealous. They were also farmers from Zhuangzi in Sanshui County. In the past, they had always heard that the masters of the Zhuangzi and Zhong family were very good to the farmers. They did not think much of it, but this time, they saw it with their own eyes and wished that they could immediately become farmers here. Not only did they eat better than their own people, but there was also a doctor who came over with his disciple to check on them one by one. He was afraid that they would catch a cold if they were swept by the rain. The 2 housekeepers of Zhuangzi also wandered among the crowd, stopping from time to time to ask the older people what was wrong with them. Those who ran too slowly and whose clothes were wet were pulled to a small shed at the side to change into a new set of clothes. Brother, I see that the clothes on these 2 Zhuangzi are the same. Other than the words on the chest, the workmanship and cloth are from the same place, right? A helper asked a Gu family's Zhuangzi man beside him when he saw those who changed their clothes come out. Those who did not change their clothes were given a set of clothes to hold on to. You just saw it? How many days had it been like this? Didn't you see those people who gave the clothes to look at them with the help of the light? That depends on the name. First, get someone to measure your body one by one and remember your name. Then, go to a tailor shop to have them made. They will use the same cloth and style. Only the men and women will be separated. All the money will be paid by the owner, including the shoes. The Gu family's farmer could only drink a mouthful of soup as he watched the other party drink. He said to the person who asked the question, "So good. Where's your Zhuangzi?" The person who asked the question enviously looked at the happy faces of the Zhong family and Wang family before asking the Gu family. "We're not bad either. This year, we can hand in less than half of the grain. Yesterday, the main family sent someone to measure our sizes and shoes. In a few days, we'll be able to wear new clothes. This is all thanks to the 2 Zhuangzi." When the Gu family talked about clothes, they were equally happy. The person who asked the question was stunned. If you don't thank the master of your main family, how are you going to thank them? Without them, there wouldn't be such a good harvest. Without between the clouds and the water, there wouldn't be a market, and the main family wouldn't think of us. When comparing the 2 places, the main family is afraid that we'll run away, so they can only learn from their main family and treat us better. Not only Gu family's Zhuangzi, but also Li family's Zhuangzi. The villagers of the Gu family had long understood this point. The children of the Gu family went to study in the other side school. Now, the main family had an agreement with the other side. They would send food to the other side for them to cook. Although it was slightly worse than what the other side ate, it was much better than what they brought back. Yes, that's true. It's a pity that my Zhuangzi doesn't have Zhong family and Wang family. It's a blessing to follow such a main family. When the person who asked the question heard that the Zhuangzi around him were also enjoying the food, he didn't have the mood to talk anymore. He lowered his head and ate with all his might. It wasn't easy to have a good meal, and it would be even better if they could bring it back home. Compared to the carefree people who were working, the owners of the grain stores were listless. At the same time, they were feeling very sad. We still haven't gotten everything back. What should we do? Let's see how much we have in total. Otherwise, we won't plant anymore. Hopefully, we can get enough from others. Otherwise, we will have to pay a lot of money. Boss Wang sat in the shed and watched the others eat and drink. He couldn't swallow the food in front of him, but he drank 2 big bowls of wine. His face was drooping, and he seemed to be talking to himself. It doesn't seem to be enough. Even if we don't plant our own, we still have to pay others. Let's calculate. It's about 6,000 taels of silver.
How much can we earn from the handprint?
6,000 taels, and we still have to pay for the workers, the lanterns, the food, and the scythe.
It's more than 600 taels.
The scythe is good, and it works faster, but it can't be sold for 1 tael of silver, right? Boss Lu heard Boss Wong's words, and calculated how much money they would have to pay this time. The others also heard it. After working for so many days, not only did they not earn any money, they still had to pay. It's not that they couldn't afford it, but that they would lose too much. Everyone, listen to me. Don't worry.
Isn't it just a portion that hasn't been collected?
How about this? We'll go according to the original price, 65 copper coins.
Zhuangzi will help you make up for it.
Don't forget that Zhuangzi harvested some rice during the day.
I reckon that other than the seeds left by Zhuangzi, it's just about the amount that you didn't collect.
Steward Zhang listened from the side, and timely told the little young master's arrangements. He had an almost blind worship for the little young master and the little young lady. One by one, people came to cause trouble, and look at the results. Just like the little young lady said, that small bridge was the bridge of helplessness. Those who did good would be reincarnated into a good family, while those who did evil would be directly thrown into a pot of oil to be tormented. One thought to heaven, one thought to hell. There was no escape. The owners of the grain company didn't know what Steward Zhang was thinking. Seeing that there was still hope, they became happy again.
Steward Zhang, are you telling the truth?
Boss Jean carefully asked with a hopeful expression.
Yes. Zhang family and Wang family. Zhuangzi doesn't intend to harm you.
Just take the rest and you can still make money.
That sickle is not bad. Take it back and use it.
It's easier to use than the original one. Steward Zhang said with a sincere expression. Good people, you are all good people, we are bad people. We didn't have good intentions when we first came.
Do you still want to exchange for a shop in the capital?
Don't worry, this time we won't keep a single copper coin. We'll take as much as we deserve. Boss Wong interjected at this time. There was no need to compensate, and they could still make some money. Now that they looked good, they wouldn't come to cause trouble in the future. Zhuangzi was too evil.
Steward Zhang smiled and said, You can exchange for anything.
Whatever is convenient for you, Zhuangzi will accept. Oh, the rice soaked in the rain, what are your plans?
If you are willing to sell it to Zhuangzi, Zhuangzi can use it to make wine.
The price? Just sell it at the normal price, or a bit less. Boss Jean saw that people were willing to buy the rice that was not good for use even if they brought it back, so he quickly gave a price.
Xiao Bao, tomorrow we will go to Little Luo Shui to play. I heard that there will be a lot of talented men and women there. Let's see what the dock looks like at this time of the year. If you have anything else to arrange, do it quickly. Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao had just finished their lesson and were chatting on the couch.
There is one more thing. Just now, the housekeeper sent someone to say that they are willing to sell the rice soaked in the rain.
Zhang Xiaobao thought for a while.
This was the only thing that was left.
Aren't you going to keep it to make wine?
Wang Wan planned to do so.
I won't use such good grains to make wine.
Before we leave tomorrow morning, I'll get someone to bring them back and steam them to make rice cakes or popped rice flours.
Each grain is better than ordinary rice. It's a waste to use them to make music or wine.
I'll make more popped rice flours.
When the time comes, I'll glue them with sugar and follow us to Little Luo Shui.
I reckon the price of selling them will be about the same as selling the seeds.
Zhang Xiaobao turned over and faced Wang Wan and said.
Wang Wan reached out and pinched Zhang Xiaobao's face. Let me see how smart you are. They bought it with the same price as the seeds, but you bought it back with the same price as the normal rice. Then you reprocessed it and sold it at the same price as the seeds.
If they knew about this, they would definitely regret it.
This is the difference between raw material supply and deep processing. What we need to do in the future is to find more deep processing methods. Let's sleep. We will get up early tomorrow morning and go to Little Luo Shui to get a small boat.
You sit there and I will row. I can row very well.
With a single paddle, I can make the boat reach the shore horizontally.
Don't brag. Aren't those who make a living on the river better than you? Can you row the paddle and make the boat reach the shore?
Wang Wan replied.
I can't do that. Can you? Zhang Xiaobao admitted that he was not good enough.
Of course.
I can row the paddle against the shore and push the boat away in 2 strokes.
When the boat passed by, the ripples on the water gently curved.
A handful of fish gathered together. The fairyland in the painting was once far away.
The dreamland in the poem was never encountered. The dark clouds thinly penetrated the sunlight. The blue water surged and reflected the remaining green.
The sound of the crowd was heard.
The autumn geese were 2 lines of rain on the river.
Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan got up early in the morning and rushed to the Little Luo Shui River at noon.
They just happened to see the sun penetrating the clouds, the drizzle like silk, the boat moving, the fish floating, the geese crying in the sky, and the human figure heading south.
It's so beautiful. Xiaobao, you get a camera. I'll take a picture of this. It's so beautiful. Looking at the landscape, it seems like it's fake.
It seems like a splash ink landscape painting.
Wang Wan was eating snacks made with sugar and made with a pot of rice that was hurriedly given to her in the morning.
When she got off the car and saw such a charming scene, she began to talk nonsense.
The camera is not good. Why don't we use the tape used to shoot movies? That's more artistic.
Once it's in the computer, there's no need to do any follow-up processing.
That's settled. Keep the environment here.
When we succeed in our research, we'll record it.
Zhang Xiaobao still retained a little of his rationality.
He knew that this matter was not much different from a dream.
Let's go.
You said that the 2 of us went to the place where the scholars gathered to play.
What should we say? Wang Wan watched the geese leave and pulled Zhang Xiaobao to the shore, preparing to enter the first house in Linshui.
Can we say, we're just looking, not talking?
Zhang Xiaobao replied seriously. Chapter 195.
In the drizzle, the dock was still bustling with activity. The people carrying the goods only had a rough rag on their shoulders, and bags after bags of goods were placed on it.
With a muffled groan, they grabbed the goods with both hands and walked away.
They are just dock workers.
Xiaobao, what are you looking at? Have you done this before?
Wang Wan also knew that the work and income of the people who carried out the work was disproportionate compared to other people, but she couldn't stop it. After all, it was an income. Seeing Zhang Xiaobao standing there in a daze, she thought he was reminiscing about the past again.
Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. No, I have never done this kind of work before. I can do it even if you ask me. Then what are you looking at?
Are you pitying them? Wang Wan guessed. They are not pitiful. They rely on their own abilities to make a living.
What is there to pity?
I am thinking if we can increase the efficiency. There are many advanced tools at the train station and docks. The throughput is tens of thousands of times higher than here.
Zhang Xiaobao's eyes did not continue to stare at the people carrying the goods.
Instead, they swept the flat ground beside the dock.
If you can make those equipment, why don't you help me make the combine harvester? I will open an oil refinery for you.
Wang Wan finally found an opportunity to return the favor.
Don't you know how to change from automatic to manual? To put it simply, it is a pulley block. There is no need to tell the bearings.
The wheels can be turned, and the iron wheels can still be turned. The teeth of the gears do not need to be so tight, and the quality does not need to be guaranteed. At worst, we can just replace it. It is better than letting people carry it bit by bit.
Zhang Xiaobao did not plan to make any precision equipment.
As long as there was a piece of lifting equipment and a chain that moved horizontally, it would increase the efficiency by a lot. There was no need for such a high degree of adhesion for the gears. He could make a few more, see which ones were suitable, and put them on. Wang Wan's physics was better than Zhang Xiaobao's. Zhang Xiaobao did not learn the system at all. When he heard this idea, he thought about it and felt that it was really feasible. It was just a sturdy frame with chains and gears. The wooden wheels could be turned, so why couldn't it be changed to iron wheels? Regardless of whether it was made by hand or melted into molten iron, there wouldn't be a problem. The only problem was that the chain didn't seem to be flexible enough. With doubts in his heart, he asked Zhang Xiaobao, "Are you sure you can make iron chains? Then our bicycles are almost ready. Can't you use rope?" Hearing you ask, I know that iron chains can't be made. If iron can't be made, what about copper? Zhang Xiaobao did not know anything about this kind of things that involved middle school and above. He could only ask Wang Wan. Wang Wan thought for a moment and said, "Iron, copper, and rope don't really matter. As long as we find someone to make them, for example, iron, we can forge them with all our might. The quality is not bad, but what about the workers at the docks? When the efficiency of the dock increases, many people will lose their jobs. The workers will continue to be workers. The loading of the dock also needs people. After they are familiar with it, these people are the most important. For example, the distribution of goods, or the binding of ropes, these are all knowledge. In addition to this, there is another thing. The bigger the dock's capacity, the more people it attracts, and the more goods it will attract. Using these tools to transport the goods to the shore, don't you need experienced workers to transport them?" Zhang Xiaobao thought more thoroughly in this regard than Wang Wan. Wang Wan was not stupid. After thinking about it, she stared at Zhang Xiaobao and said, "I understand. In other words, we did not give up the original industry. Instead, we added a new department, and let those people have more jobs. What you want them to do is logistics in the middle. These people will not only help to do temporary transportation around the dock, but also help us to collect information. Just like the pricing power of the market in Zhuangzi, I want to know the price of various items in a certain place in the shortest time possible." Zhang Xiaobao was used to having information in his hands. Now that he had calculated so much, he had long felt that it was difficult. He only dared to play chess in a county. Without so much information to support, he could not make more accurate judgments and long-term plans. For him, the enemy was not terrifying because of their strength, but because of the unknown. "You are quite ambitious, aren't you? You even want to use this. What do you want to do?" When Wang Wan heard the information, she also became spirited. She was also in this line of work. She was even more specific than Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao only wanted to know, but she was in charge of collecting information in the past. Nothing much. Didn't someone say that if you give him a fulcrum, he can move the earth? Then what I want to say is that if you give me accurate information, I can disrupt the universe, control the air and the sea. It doesn't matter. Only by controlling the information can we win. You are talking about control of electronic power, right? How big is your ambition? Wang Wan understood what he meant. My ambition is to one day eat whatever I want, wear whatever I want, and do whatever I want, Zhang Xiaobao said longingly. What do you mean? Wang Wan looked at Zhang Xiaobao with an unusual gaze. The scope is a little wider, for example, do you know how to speak human language? I know you have been wandering around the world for a while. Don't try to fool around in front of me, you know. Zhang Xiaobao. Yes, I understand. It means to drink soy milk and want to boil sugar, boil red pond, boil red pond, boil red pond. Zhang Xiaobao looked at Wang Wan's disdainful gaze and finally admitted that sometimes, hard work and hard work were only equal to genius. He remembered that Wang Wan was proficient in 9 languages, including some regional dialects. When such a person existed in the world, he announced to the world that the 1% of talent that determines success or failure. Zhang Xiaobao, I am telling you seriously now that I won't allow you to think of anything else, Wang Wan said seriously. Zhang Xiaobao nodded. I'm not thinking of anything else. I'm just telling you the truth.
I'm not afraid that you will laugh at me.
Back then, I worked so hard to live on so that I could fulfill Grandpa Dean's last wish.
I still don't know what love is. You give me candy, and I give you fun things to play with.
When disaster strikes, you reach out to me.
That is love, Wang Wan thought for a while and replied. Then I don't want to implicate you, so I let go.
That is heartless. Is it like the person who wrote 100 years ago, "The mountains are without hedges, and the heaven and earth are in harmony"? Only then did I dare to fight with June. Zhang Xiaobao thought hard and finally thought of a better sentence to describe it.
Wang Wan was so angry that she laughed. Shallow, what are you saying? When we go back, no need. Starting tonight, you will read the book of songs to me. I will let you know what is evil. I want to know with June Xia Yushue. Dared to fight with June. Who are you calling shallow? Do you still want your husband's discipline?
Zhang Xiaobao had never heard such a long sentence and thought that it was only those 2 sentences. He glared at her and said unhappily,
Who do you think I'm talking about?
What discipline? Wang Wan glared back. That's right, that's right. What discipline? You misheard. What I said was, Meng Per soup at the bridge of helplessness. Holding the bowl and looking back, one's intestines will be broken. Who says it is easy to forget in this life, and only wait for tomorrow to lie by the side?
Zhang Xiaobao reacted quickly and quickly came up with a rhyme.
So you're saying that in my last life, or perhaps before, we were fated to meet?
Wang Wan listened to Zhang Xiaobao's words and laughed.
Fated or not, 100 years of cultivation to sleep on the same pillow.
Sleeping on the same pillow, holding an umbrella in the pouring rain.
Holding an umbrella, not meeting in the vast sea of people. Not meeting, the magpie flies, the moon is curved.
Zhang Xiaobao saw that he had changed the topic and immediately continued.
Wang Wan covered her mouth with her hand and leaned her head on Zhang Xiaobao's shoulder. Faintly, she said, Little mouth, you're so smooth.
Speak, how many girls have you tricked? What's the point of tricking girls?
I've always been eyeing men to trick. Xiaobao, don't say any more.
Let's go to the first house in Lin Shui first. I want to eat some ginger. It's disgusting.
Then don't vomit on me.
I don't know what you're thinking about all day.
Asterisk 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 asterisk. Brother Jia, you've come late.
You should be punished with a cup of wine. It's fine if you offend us, but if you neglect a beauty, then you've committed a great crime.
In the first house in Lin Shui, in a single room on the 3rd floor, a person had just entered when he was stopped by the person guarding the door. The person had a cup of wine in his hand and insisted that this person drink it. The person called Brother Jia swept his eyes across the room. He saw that the woman next to the farmer was looking back.
Without saying anything, he took the wine cup and raised his head to drink it. He said, "A cup of good wine is also a cup of purity. Don't let your emotions lead you to the beauty."
Good poem. Just as this person with the surname Jia finished speaking, someone loudly shouted from the side. Brother Wei Ran, you're really talented. Just 1 cup of wine and you're able to write a poem.
Another person praised.
From the way they addressed each other, it was obvious that they were close. Jia Wei Ran did not look smug. He cupped his hands and raised his head. Just as he was about to receive the woman's gaze, he realized that the woman had already turned her head away.
She was looking at the scenery outside through the window.
All that was left was her graceful back view. Brother Wei Ran, quick, quick, sit here. The person who had expressed his friendliness just now raised his hand to greet Jia Wei Ran. However, Jia Wei Ran didn't walk towards him. Instead, he went to another window and signaled the person there to leave with his gaze. Then, he sat down.
Xiaoying, there's not much scenery outside. Why don't we talk about poems together? It's better than looking at those indecent people working naked, right?
Just as he sat down, Jia Wei Ran said to the woman by the window on the other side. Unfortunately, the woman did not turn her head. He could only see the side of her face. Just as he was about to say something, another person appeared at the door.
He must have heard Jia Weiran's voice and said, "That's not right."
Brother Jia, that's not right. Why are the people below naked? Are they not wearing pants? There's a piece of linen on their shoulders. From what I see, that piece of linen looks better than some people's headscarf. What do you think? So it's Mr. Han. I didn't expect Mr. Han to be so gracious at today's gathering. Mr. Han, come and sit here. The people at the table seemed to recognize the new person at the door. They all greeted him. The person standing at the door smiled and nodded. He did not wait for others to say anything about the punishment and poured himself a cup. I'm a little late. I deserve to be punished. As he finished speaking, he walked to the window and stood behind Jia Weiran. He looked at the situation below and said, I have a few lines that I'd like to share with all of you. It's for fun. The tides on both sides of the Luo Shui River, the 3 autumn leaves are yellow and the 4 seasons are sparse. Can't eat more than the 5 grains? How can the harvest be good enough to guard the 6 lines? 7 turns and 8 turns into this place. 9 arms, 10 stones, 100 shoulders. Thousands of helpers gather like ants. Thousands of people get rice. 10 ships, 9 villages, 8 miles, 7 days, 6 hours. Forgot to mention the 5 classics and 4 virtues. Just a few words, one person ridiculed? Han Xianfeng, you dare to scold me for forgetting the 5 classics and 4 virtues of a gentleman? I'll fight it out with you. The one with the surname Jia was not bad. He knew what the other party was talking about. When autumn came, the people of Sanshui County would run out of food. How could they follow the rules of whether to wear clothes? They were in a hurry to pick out the food. Tens of thousands of people worked together to deliver the food to the local people, even at night. Only those who had forgotten their fathers, mothers, brothers, friends, and the 4 virtues of a gentleman would show off their knowledge and mock the people there. Unable to hold back his anger, he turned and pounced on Han Xianfeng. The people around him naturally would not let him succeed. They pulled him and said Han Xianfeng's lines. It's so lively. There are so many people. Xiao Bao, come in. Brothers and sisters, you can talk. We're not causing trouble. We're just here to watch and not talk. We even brought our own stools. While the people were tearing, Wang Wan pulled Zhang Xiaobao and walked in. She smiled shyly at the others and explained. She dragged Zhang Xiaobao in. Each of them took a folding stool and ran to a corner to sit down. Chapter 196. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan wanted to see what was going on, so they really did come over. They carried their stools and placed them in a corner of the room. Hugging a bag in their arms, they blinked their big eyes at those people. All the scholars were stunned. The one surnamed Jia didn't want to fight with the one surnamed Han anymore. Even the girls who were watching the commotion curiously turned their gazes to the 2 children who had suddenly walked in. When Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao came over, they purposely went to a small courtyard specially reserved for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to change their clothes. Wang Wan didn't wear dresses like before. Instead, she wore a pink dress that reached her armpits. Her shoulders and arms were covered by a thin layer of cloth that reached her waist. Her tiger head shoes were modified into the shape of a chicken fluffy ball that she had designed herself. A large bow was inserted into her loose hair. 2 small bamboo pieces were specially used to clip her eyelashes. Wei Wei's hair was perked up. There was no glue to hold it in place, making it look more natural. Zhang Xiaobao's clothes were also designed by Wang Wan. It was a white silk short-sleeved shirt that wasn't so tight. It looked a little fluffy. The front of the shirt was open, and only 3 of the 5 buttons were buttoned. The bottom and top buttons were unbuttoned. Below that, he wore a pair of indigo bloomers. There was a fluffy ball of goose fluffy ball in front of his shoes. These 2 styles of clothes were slightly different from the current ones. Fortunately, there were people wearing all kinds of clothes now. There were many strange clothes, so there was no need to worry about being criticized. In the eyes of others, the 2 of them were unbearably adorable. especially the girls in the middle, who stared unblinkingly at these two interesting little guys. If they weren't worried about the adults coming over later, they would have hugged them and kissed them with all their might. "Little brother, little sister, how did you come up here? How old are you?" A girl didn't hug them. Instead, she bent down and asked softly. The third floor was not a good place to be. There were only 4 such rooms on the entire third floor. They were specially designed to extend out from the entire second floor. The lower floor was basically empty. There was only 1 such room at each of the 4 corners of the third floor. It was a circular place with windows around it, allowing one to see more of the scenery. This could be considered the second best room. From here, one could see the river, the mountains, and the pier. There was another room connected to this room. One had to walk through that room to enter this room. That room was guarded by a waiter. The waiter definitely did not let the 2 children in because he was lazy and did not notice. That could only mean that the 2 children often appeared in this place. The waiter knew them, so the family should have some money. Looking at the clothes they were wearing, he could also see that the clothes they were wearing would cost 20 or 30 taels of silver. Especially the clothes that the little girl was wearing, he could see the white skin underneath. However, he discovered that there were 3 layers of muslin at the collar. The woman just wanted to know what the 2 children were doing at home. He didn't want to provoke the 2 children by not answering correctly. "This beautiful older sister, we walked up here. We are 4 years old this year." Wang Wan replied and gave the woman a sweet smile. She was not wrong. According to the nominal age, they were indeed 4 years old. After some days, they would be 3 years old. Zhang Xiaobao did not speak at this time. He felt uncomfortable talking to others like this. He did not want to pretend to be a child unless it was necessary. When he was with his family, he liked to be hugged and kissed by his grandparents or parents. Wang Wan was not willing to do this, saying that he was suffering from the orphan syndrome. 4 years old, you are so sensible. Then tell older sister, what are you here to see? Aren't your family worried? The woman was happy to be praised by the child. She thought that the child was telling the truth. She did not expect that the 2 children in the corner could almost call the wind and summon the rain in the entire Sanshui County. They secretly supported Zhong Wang and Zhuangzi. With a small bridge as the dividing line, they blocked groups of people who wanted to do bad things. "Don't be afraid. When the time comes, we will go back. We are not running around. We are just here to see, not to interrupt." Wang Wan was still there with a sweet smile. This was the first time that she and Zhang Xiaobao had traveled so far to play. Naturally, they were happy. "Oh, then don't sit in the corner. Come here and eat something. What do you like to eat?" The food of the first restaurant in Linshui is not worse than the big restaurants in the capital. There are also some signature dishes that are not available elsewhere. Come to older sister." The woman waved her hand and did not care whether the 2 children could understand or not. She introduced them. Wang Wan shook her head. "No, you eat your food. We brought some food for ourselves. Mom said that we can't eat other people's food. We will leave in a while." Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not move. They just stayed there, and the others could not do anything about it. If other people suddenly entered the room, they would drive them out and find the waiter to question them. However, when they saw the 2 lovely children, they could not say anything to drive them away. They did not want the waiter to take them away. At this time, young Master Jia saw that the beauty in his heart was also staring at the children. He could only temporarily put down his attack on the man surnamed Han. The main reason was that he knew that he could not beat him. He was not good in literature, and he was not good in body. Fortunately, his family was better than this man. Thinking of his family, he felt a little better. Sanshui County was good, so his life in the future would be better. Therefore, he changed his angry look and said to the beauty in his heart, "Xiaoying, look down there. Is there any place that is uncomfortable? I asked someone to change it." "Young Master Jia, do you mean that you want to control other people's place? They bought this place. Do you think you can change it just because you want to? Young Master Han seemed to dislike young Master Jia. Others did not dare to say such things, but he dared. The woman named Xiaoying heard him and nodded in agreement. That's true. After Sanshui County has this dock, the lives of the people will be better than usual. I think it's good. If I really want to change something, it's better to repair the road, especially the section past the bridge. Put more stones, so that when the snow melts after winter, it won't delay the transportation of goods.
Xiaoying is right. The road must be repaired. The people at the dock will pay for it.
They are the ones who damaged the road.
In a few days, we will ask them to repair it. Not only the road, but also a Xingzai here.
Young Master Jia agreed without thinking, as if he had the final say in Sanshui County. Wang Wan, who was sitting in the corner, was not willing. She muttered to Zhang Xiaobao, "That man surnamed Jia is arrogant. Does he think he is the emperor if we ask him to cultivate here?"
She said it softly.
At this time, everyone was thinking about what Jia Di said. The house was quiet, and someone heard it. Perhaps Wang Wan meant the same thing. Jia Weiran looked at the two children. He did not like children. He stared at Wang Wan and said, "Little girl, don't you know who I am? Ask the adults in your family if they dare to talk to me like this."
"No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Xiao Bao."
Wang Wan looked scared and said sadly, "Young Master Jia, why do you have to do this to a child?" "Little girl, his name is Xiao Bao. What's your name?" "It's Noon."
"You must be hungry. Come and see what you want to eat.
I'll get some for you." The woman beside them was not willing.
Why did he scare such a good child?
Moreover, she was so sensible. Wang Wan was not so scared this time. "Sister, I'm Cuckoo. We brought our own food." Seeing that they were rejected again, the scholars and beauties did not care anymore. They ate and drank while talking about random things. Occasionally, a few of the girls would look at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not have any food. They took out food from the bag in front of them and listened to the others talk. They also ate. Jia Weiran wanted to talk more with Xiaoying, but he found that Xiaoying kept looking at the two children. He was angry. He saw that the two children took out some kind of smoked meat in the oil paper bag, but it was definitely not beef. He picked up a piece of marinated beef and said to Zhang Xiaobao, "You're Xiaobao, right? Don't eat that. Come and eat something good. I have marinated beef here." "Beef. You can't eat it usually. The color of your marinated pork is not good." Zhang Xiaobao raised his head helplessly. He held the meat in his hand so that others could see. "Beef is not easy to get. It will be troublesome to kill it directly. You guys eat. We'll eat some of this smoked venison. You guys eat. Don't worry about him. He doesn't know what pork is, what deer is, and definitely doesn't know about marinated meat." Young Master Han said carefreely. The two girls could not help but laugh. Jia Weiran's face turned green. He was embarrassed. He said that the meat in the other party's hand was not good and wanted to give him beef. In the end, the other party had venison. Beef was precious because it was used for farming, but it could not be compared to venison. Looking carefully, the venison looked like it was from the neck. There were even tendons on it. The small piece in the other party's hand was enough to buy the few dishes on the table. What happened today would spread to everyone he knew. What was that? The little girl took out a thick bamboo tube. Did she want to drink water? Just as Jia Weiran was feeling frustrated, he saw Wang Wan take out a thick bamboo tube. He glanced at the bamboo shoot soup and chicken soup on the table and finally felt that he had a chance to regain some face. He said, "Cuckoo, don't drink water. Come and drink this soup. It's made from bamboo shoots. It's not easy to keep it until now." "I didn't drink water. I'm eating," Wang Wan explained softly. She took out a big lump of soaked wood ear from the bamboo tube. There was only one wood ear, and it was the size of a small bowl. She took a bite and brought it to Zhang Xiaobao for him to take a bite. "Ha ha 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 ha. Young Master Han could not help but laugh. He pointed at Jia Wei Ran with one hand and held his stomach with the other. Not only him, but the others also laughed. One of them squatted on the floor and grabbed his hair to stop laughing. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.